What's up, y'all? Good evening. This is Mark A. Cunningham, aka Max 611. This is In the Paint, the realest show in sports. I want to thank y'all for joining us. Got my brother Chandler with me tonight. We're waiting for R. He said he was going to show up. We'll see. What's going on, Chandler? How you doing?
I'm all right. How's everything?
I'm good. You know, hanging in there. You know, doing what I gotta do. Yeah. So you ready to get into this? Hold on before we get into that. Introduce the other brother, Dom from Chicago. I'm gonna bring you in. What's up, Dom?
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, how are you?
I can't complain, Mark.
Got you and Chandler with me right now. How's your weekend?
Great.
I know. I saw the hotel. You didn't invite me.
Oh man, what a treat! What a treat!
Yeah, I got both of y'all on. Y'all are big Yankee fans. We're gonna start in the land of baseball.
Oh.
Yeah, I got both of y'all on. The New York Yankees need to fire GM Brian Cashman, manager Aaron Boone, and they need to de-emphasize the analytical department. What are you guys' takes on all three? And I'm gonna start with Dom because I know Chandler just gonna go in.
It's funny we mention that now,
right?
And in the first two games against a team that was leading Major League Baseball in almost every category,
right?
That the Yankees held them to like 6 hits, 0 runs, 18 innings, 16 strikeouts. And then they had another snafu in the ninth inning.
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and justify their up and down performances. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I'm a firm believer, just like when y'all say fire every coach in the NBA, that players play. And so far, the Yankees have not been playing. If you look at the games they beat the Astros in, except for the game they lost, they didn't score a hell of a lot of runs, but they held them scoreless. So is changing the manager, the GM, going to get these guys to hit, or changing the manager and the GM, we're going to wave a magic wand and redo this lineup? This ain't basketball where you'll tank for a couple of years to get draft picks. The Yankees ain't in no position to tank because they're the Yankees. So I don't see what all of that would get you, honestly. Is change needed? Yeah, maybe. But first of all, not middle of the season.
And that rarely happens unless the manager is just totally.
Right. If they'd have went to Houston and got swept, then I think a lot of people would have had, again, they've been screaming all year. So, but those are your atypical fans that when things don't go right, it's sports. Fire this guy, fire that guy. But I always have that belief is you're not going to wave a magic wand and change this overnight. If you're looking long term, we know the Yankees don't think that long term because they want to stay competitive. They're not the Knicks. They're not the Sixers, the Giants, the Jets, where they could fool us on this rebuilding process. No, it just don't work that way with the Yankees, guys.
Well, baseball, to rebuild a baseball team is different from basketball and football.
Exactly. So, do you go with the flow? I would say, yeah. After this year, yes, changes have to be made. Don't ask me where,
So let me ask you this. Are you happy with Brian Cashman as the GM? Have you been happy the past few years?
Well, I won't say yes or no because, again, baseball has changed. The Yankees have gone out and offered guys just as much as the other teams offered them, maybe a year or two less.
Right.
But again, you're talking, do these guys want to play in New York? Those days are almost over too. That mecca shit in basketball. When you're getting offered these astronomical contracts, guys, and you may get 1 more year, 2 more years guaranteed, do you chase the money? Yeah, probably. Probably. So, because we just seen it. Machado did it. So, do they do that? Are they chasing the money? And the Padres got a good young team. They're on the come up, but until they prove they can do anything, they're still the Padres. So maybe Cashman needs to go just for, your ship has sailed.
Right. He's been here a while.
Yeah, let's not totally throw him under the bus. The Yankees have stayed competitive. Chandler's going to give us the Yankees didn't win a ring and they're supposed to win a ring. I get it. I feel that way too just now that I've gotten a little older and I've suffered with every other team that I support. At least the Yankees keep me interested, where them other teams for years didn't keep me interested. So, yeah, I know it's win all or go home, but, just me. That's just me, guys. As a Yankee fan who has seen plenty of World Series, pennants, I really don't live by that credo no more. I'm just happy to see a competitive team. But they made some blunders, guys. I'm not going to lie.
What about Aaron Boone? Does he need to go as well? Or do you still keep him? Are you satisfied with him as the manager?
I think he's made some bonehead decisions. And I think how you started this, Mark, I think he's too analytical where it's still baseball. See ball, hit ball, run, see ball, field ball, throw. It's still baseball.
Right.
I think somebody too much into this.
Somebody said get Theo Epstein in me. Thank you for listening to us. Support, share the show. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.
I mean,
go ahead,
I agree with you with that part, Mark. I'm sick of that. I'm sick of that in all sports.
Sick of what?
That analytic stuff.
Oh, yeah. Bro.
We've had this conversation a million times. It's getting a little overboard now. I mean, Theo Epstein, yeah, he's had some good fortune other places.
Where's Theo?
Yeah, and he's a little younger than Cashman. Again, if the goal is to shake it up, then shake it up. The Yankees still have other issues they need to address. Do we judge? Is he shaking the injury bug, or will he be an injury bug? Is Torres really your shortstop of the future?
Right.
They got some
Theo
issues
Epstein,
to contend with.
Right. Presently is a consultant for
Major League Baseball.
Right.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So he don't have a job.
Cut you off.
Yeah, he don't have a job. But again, they got whoever comes in has to come in with blinders on and forget about all of the names and all of the we wished, we hoped. Because I said this a long time ago, guys. I did not think Gleyber Torres was a shortstop. I found Gleyber Torres pulling up too much, trying to hit the long ball too much. And he's turned into, a 220 hitter? And nobody could reach him. I mean, are they trying to reach him and he's just not listening? I don't know. Again, guys, it's baseball. You see ball, you hit ball. You want to be the next Hank Aaron, then I don't think you're cut out for that. So again, they have some issues to address. Whoever it is, Chap, Cashman, or the new guy coming in, they have issues they need to address, and they need to address them this year.
Okay. Well said. Go ahead, Chandler. Get it all out.
Well, Dom is wrong as usual.
Oh wow.
Yes, they both need to be fired immediately. And it's not about a rebuild. It's about the fact that you have changes that you can make that they refuse to make. First of all, they brought an MVP a literal MVP player and turned him into a one-dimensional player. This false narrative that they've been spreading since the day Stan guy that he can't play the outfield is just that, a false narrative. The man won an MVP playing the outfield. There are a bunch of teams, by the way, who play defensively deficient players in the field and are winning teams. The Dodgers did it for years with what's his Justin Turner at third. The Nationals did it for years with Daniel Murphy at second. You can look at the Mets. Three players on the Mets are not great defenders, but they're everyday players. Mets are in first place. So don't tell me that you can't play Stanton in the outfield. You can. Okay. You could bring up Estevan Florial, who still is only 22, by the way, and is finally healthy, and the kid is hitting. You keep bringing up Tyler Wade, who's a 4A player, but you have a young kid in Park down there who is hitting down there, who you could give an opportunity to, since Tyler Wade has proven he can't hit major league pitching. So there's your left-hander for the outfield is Florial. You could put Stanton out there. You could have Florial in center field. You put Stanton in left. Now you can actually rotate people through the DH slot. Gleyber Torres doesn't have to be a Gold Glove shortstop. If he's just average defensively, which is about what he is, that would be fine, except that the Yankees hitting philosophy based on the analytics of Cashman is about lift and separate, lift and separate, lift and separate. We had this conversation about 3 weeks into the season, and I said, look at the spray charts of these players before the Yankees started going with the whole we need homers all the time philosophy. If you notice, Sanchez is hitting again. Why? Because he's no longer leaning on his back. He's no longer backlegging everything. He's not backlegging everything. Now he's trying to use the whole field. Suddenly he's hitting again. When everybody says, oh, Sanchez can't hit anymore. No, he basically stopped listening to the damn Yankee hitting instructors and just started doing what was natural for him, which is hit to all fields. If you look at the guys who started being successful, they've gone away from the Yankees mantra of we need you to hit home runs, except Gleyber Torres is still bought into because he's backlegging everything. Luke Voigt can't decide whether he wants to be the hitter he was, which is a guy who goes the opposite way, or a home run hitter. And based on his commercials, he's all about the home run now. They could have made a trade for Carlos Santana in the offseason. I linked you guys the story that both Michael Brantley and Schwarber wanted to come to the Yankees, and the Yankees said no, and they were willing to take discounts. Okay, so you could have had a left-handed bat in the outfield, right? And again, you could have had either one of those guys in the DH slot. If you want to DH stand all the time, either one of those guys could have played the outfield. So this is not a thing where it's about a rebuild. It's about poor decision making. Look at the Yankee draft right now. The Yankees drafted a 21-year-old college shortstop. Why? He's never going to make it out of Double-A. So you wasted a draft pick. And don't tell me, well, it's because they pick so low. The Dodgers pick low. Look at half the Dodgers roster is filled with young players. They're always picking low. Okay? Look at some of these winning teams that have the Washington Nationals, minor league system. Somehow everybody can get draft picks that are winning teams. Their draft picks make it to the majors, but the Yankees don't. Tell me the last young player the Yankees drafted and developed under Cashman in the 20-plus years he's been the general manager. But the same young players that everyone swears can't play here go other places. And Billy McKinney, remember him? Remember Billy McKinney? They got rid of him. He's never going to be anything. How's he doing for the Mets right now? I mean, is he a star? No, but is he an important piece to what they're doing? He absolutely is. Okay? You look at Ben Gamel. There are players littered around the league, minor league players that the Yankees didn't want to give a shot to. Remember Rob Refsnyder that the Yankees swore couldn't hit? Now he's hurt now. He's starting for the Minnesota Twins and doing well. So, yes, Cashman has to go and has to go now because the philosophy is a problem. Now, to Boone, I think Boone could have been a good manager. I think he could have been a good manager. But he is so bought into this analytics nonsense that he can't make his own decisions. The first pitch Chad Green threw yesterday, anybody who knows baseball knew Chad Green had nothing. You had a 5-run lead. You want to talk soft landing spots for Chapman to see if you can get him straightened out? A 5-run lead was it. That's when you bring in Chapman with a 5-run lead. Listen, dude, if he gets in trouble, you can get him out of there. Green got in trouble, and he didn't get him out of there. There were other pitchers to go to. It's the day before the All-Star break. Every pitcher on the roster is available. Everybody on the roster is available, except the guy who pitched the day before.
Mm-hmm.
And it never occurred to you to get Green out of there. Oh, and by the way, you let Altuve get him again. Okay? This is like the fourth time since 2019 that Altuve has beaten Chad Green. Okay, I'm going back to 2019 with this, with Chad Green and Altuve.
Right.
Okay, so you're so analytical, but yet the numbers should have told you Chad Green does do well against Jose Altuve, yet you left him in there. Why? Because you don't make decisions anymore. They're making the decisions. You're the puppet. So how bad a manager is he, we'll never know, because he doesn't make out the lineup. He doesn't make this. They asked Brian Cashman, it was about a month ago. They said, well, what if Aaron Boone wanted to change the lineup differently than what you guys want him to do? Cashman's response was, it better work. Which tells you that Aaron Boone literally has no authority. So if part of being a manager is managing the players and the personalities and getting guys to buy in, why would I buy into a guy I know is just a mouthpiece? Why would I buy into the guy? Why would I even come to him and say, I want to play today, when he's not the one making the decisions? You know, that matters, man. That matters.
Well,
and they've taken it pretty much out of baseball. Go ahead.
I was going to say, well, this is the new baseball. The analytics guys control everything now. Don't get me wrong. Some analytics I agree with. Some of it is just pure BS, made up. I don't care about launch angles. I'm sure guys who, those guys who are in the trenches playing every day really don't care about launch angles, because now you're changing somebody's natural way to hit.
Right.
You're changing their natural swing.
Yep. And again, this is why I keep going back to Brian Cashman should have been fired years ago. We do really well with Brian Cashman. We've won one World Series. That World Series was made up of a team of players that basically were all brought in from other places. And
superstar stars, former superstars.
Right. That team. So if you look at what Cashman has done, his draft record alone should get him fired. His draft record alone should get him fired. That alone should get him fired. Okay, and the bottom line is, don't tell me we won 100 games. I don't care about winning 100 games in the American League East. That's not why that's not what it's supposed to be about. Now, if that's the bar, then that's fine. Just tell me that's the bar. Now, the bar is 100 years, 100 games, and American League East. If that's the bar, fine. Then the Yankees are highly successful. But don't talk. Then I don't want to hear the word about World Series from any of them. I don't want to hear World Series from any of them, because you're not trying to win. And again, it's not about, you don't have to totally overhaul this roster. You could make 3 changes and make this team better. You go get Carlos Santana, you bring up Estevan Florial, and you put Stanton in the damn outfield. That's not hard to do. It's not that hard.
I agree with the Stanton thing, because we beat that horse to death. But once again, Chandler, since he wants to throw me under the bus, he gives a lot of hypotheticals. Like an example, he brought up the Dodgers, their great draft class. Couldn't get out the damn National League, couldn't win a World Series until they went out and got Betts.
Well, they went out and got a few people.
Mookie.
Right, but Mookie
San
Betts
Diego has a great farm system. Couldn't get out their way. They go get Machado and a couple of good pitchers. So that again, everything we're saying, guys, is a roll of the dice. I personally think Cashman needs to go. One, as they always say, after a while, what you're saying is falling on deaf ears. And again, Chandler brings up Sanchez. I don't care if Sanchez was practicing launch angle, high altitude angles, Colorado angles. The brother just couldn't hit a curveball. And to this day, he still cannot hit a curveball. So I always said Sanchez was a good hitter. But the longer you play, the more people see film on you and they notice things about you. And they keep feeding you that until you could beat them with what they're doing. But he hasn't been able to do that. He's playing pretty good now.
Yeah, he's
pretty
playing
well.
decently.
Yeah, he's playing decently compared to what we was calling him, 6 weeks ago. Yes, of course. But again,
well, hey, he's still batting .217 though.
Yeah,
I
was getting ready to say that, Mark. Is he even hitting .220? I don't know what his strikeout ratio is, but I'm pretty sure it's up there.
But that's the problem, though, Dom, is the fact that they have devalued average so much that, listen, they got guys in the All-Star game who, and I guarantee you look at some of the average in the All-Star game. When 10 years, when we were growing up, none of those guys would be in an All-Star game. None of them. All right? None of them. Not with the batting averages they have. But this is what they've done to baseball. Sanchez, let's be honest. He's had 3 different catching instructors in the past 3 years. They keep tinkering with everything about him. They and he gets blamed for everything. Everything is his fault. The Yankees lose, it's Sanchez's fault. He don't even have to play for it to be his fault. So he's going through some things, but his bat is coming around. He's still a good defensive catcher to me. But that's the thing is, I don't need him to be a Hall of Famer. I just need him to be Gary Sanchez. You understand what I'm saying? And him being Gary Sanchez is good enough for him to be a star catcher in this league for a long time. And in some years he'll be an all-star. Right. But this is about the philosophy of the Yankees more so than it is the players. They've turned guys who have talent into guys that you like. Who the hell would want him? I mean, they should have traded Frazier 2 months ago. And now the concussion things have come up again. They can say vertigo all they want. This is another concussion that he's dealing with the after effects of. And now he's untradeable.
Well, Chandler, what happened? He run into a wall or something? How'd he catch this one?
If you guys take a look at I think the other chat, you may still have it, Mark. It was about a month ago where he was diving all over the place making catches, and on one of them he had a severe whiplash. And I said, I hope the concussion things don't come back. Since that play, he's been terrible. And now they got him on the IL because they said, it's vertigo. No, it's not vertigo. Now it's something with his eyes. Dude, it's obvious by now that he's susceptible to concussions and the after effects because
how many has he been diagnosed? The
ones he's been honest about? It's 3 that he's been honest about.
Wow. It's 3 too many.
Because there's a couple where he didn't tell them.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? So you should have traded him. You need to move Andujar. You're not going to listen. He's not ready to be a major league outfielder. He can't. I think he might be a good one. He's not ready. He's not ready. So either send him to the minors or trade him.
Or let him play his position, third base.
Yeah. Which they're not going to do because Gio Urshela apparently is Brooks Robinson and Mike Schmidt all rolled into one.
See, this is where I ain't going to use the word frustrated, but annoyed. Because, again, I think I went over the numbers. In his rookie year, he only had probably 13 errors. He got hurt with Andujar.
Right.
Gio Urshela was a utility player his whole career.
Right.
Whole career. He didn't play just one position. He was a utility player. His best year was that year with the Yankees 2 years ago.
Yep.
Sanchez. People, I think, are tinkering with his defense because he couldn't play defense. He led the league in pass balls. So something was wrong. Now, whether they addressed it properly or 2 or 3 guys was whispering in his ear 2 or 3 different things, the bottom line is somebody was tinkering with it for a reason. You don't lead the league in pass balls because you're Johnny Bench. Something was amiss. And then when his catching became, and we always said this, God forbid the day comes when Sanchez can't play defense that well or can't hit that well, excuse me, because we knew his defense was suspect from the get-go. Then all of a sudden he couldn't hit. So was too many things going on in his head? Probably. I'll give him that alibi. He was overthinking. He was definitely overthinking behind the plate. Because, again, you lead the league in pass balls. I don't care if me and Chandler don't think you have an issue, but damn it, you should think you have an issue. So I like Sanchez. You know, when he first came up, he was a good hitter, hit for power, had a good average. But again, was there too many marbles running around in his head? And he really couldn't lock in on just one of them? Maybe. Still a young player. You know, do you give up on him? No, unless you're getting something really well back for him. But he has to improve. I mean, again, we could talk Cashman, Boone, Chandler, Mac. These guys got to perform. You know, you're making millions of dollars to perform, and they're underachieving. Straight up underachieving.
Right.
We're happy. We're happy because Judge is hitting 280. Okay. All right. But is that, you know, I'm going to leave my team to promised land type shit? No.
Nope.
And there goes my dilemma with what do they do with him? They give him a long-term contract?
That is coming up. Do you pay Aaron Judge? You can't get up from under a compromised Giancarlo Stanton because he signed you. I think Carl has said it in our chat. We already went through this finaggery with, you know, A-Rod and his 10-year contract. Now you're gonna do it with Stanton, and Stanton is not the same player. He's always injured now. I like him, but you know, I don't think we getting the bang from the buck that they're paying him.
He's not any more injured than Judge is, and see that's
Judge that too,
because Judge is injured just as. Oh, by the way, that year Stanton played the outfield all the time. He did it on one leg. He hit 30 home runs. Led the team in home runs and RBI, and I think he hit around 275. He did that on one leg. By the way,
right. Let me chime in one thing because I looked this up the other day. There's only been 1 year that I think Stanton played under 130 games, and that's the year he got hit in his face.
Right.
And he came back 2 years later, won the MVP.
Right. Here's the thing for me. You know, making these guys try to with the launch angle thing. Baseball players back in the day, they didn't have as many oblique injuries as we see now. And some of the older guys say, I don't even know what an oblique is. You saw it, but you don't. It's real prevalent now, and I think it's due to them changing somebody's natural swing. Listen, some guys are natural home run hitters, power hitters. Leave them alone. Like we talked about Lindor. Lindor is not a natural home run hitter. He even said so. He said when he was in Cleveland, they focus on him because he has power for his size and he has pop in his bat.
Right.
So you having a guy his size chase home runs, and he, you know, doing that, he hit 30 a few times. But he's not a home run hitter. And other guys aren't. They have power, but they're not home run hitters. And you know, the analytics, the launch angles, the how fast the ball is leaving off his bat. I don't care about all of that. That's cute. Right. I don't care.
Right.
I do care about a pitcher's velocity, but I don't care how fast. You know a hard hit ball when you hear it crack from the bat. Exactly. You know somebody got one.
And the outfielder don't move. Yeah.
Right.
But the thing people don't realize, there's a difference between pop and power.
Right.
Like Didi Gregorius had great pop.
Right.
He wasn't, you know, Barry Bonds, but he had pop. So when he hit it and utilizing that short porch, okay, it looked great. Don't get me wrong. But there's a difference. You know, you're right, Mark. I don't give a shit if the ball went 450 feet at 117 miles an hour. What is this, NASCAR? It's a home run.
Yo, Strawberry hit I think he hit one in Montreal that was a moon shot, and I think he hit one in the Astrodome that was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
You knew them two joints was out soon as he hit it. I don't care how fast it left. You knew it was gone when he hit them two suckers.
Yep.
Now we talking about a guy, when it leaves his bat, it's going 100 miles an hour. Shut up.
And again, Mark, you brought up injury. Oblique this, toenail that. We live in a different era with these athletes.
Mm-hmm.
I have a stomach ache and you miss 4 games.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what didn't happen back then. These guys had pride in getting out there on the field every day.
Right.
Nowadays, who was the guy that missed so many games? I forgot who it was. Because he had an ingrown toenail. Cut the shit out, bandage it up. Let's go.
But that's the teams, Dom, and this is where
surgery.
But Dom, this is where the analytics really is impacting the game, because you got these nerds who say, well, okay, he has to sit out. The numbers say that with this injury, I mean, like I said, guys aren't even making it. The general manager is telling the manager, this person is not playing today. So you go to the manager like, yo, I'm ready. I want to play. I can't. GM said no. No, he doesn't say that, but he's like, no, you're not playing. So if he don't put your name in the lineup, then nothing you can do. But it's not the manager doing it. This is the general manager and some dude in the office with a doggone
iPad, Apple. You got Apple products. Shut up, man.
Yeah,
You never played. You didn't even play tag as a kid. You nerd.
But
the thing is, like, the numbers they use. All right, let's talk about this velocity off the bat. Okay,
right.
Scouts have always graded guys on how hard they hit the ball. You got to hit a lot of line drives. Okay, so they didn't call it exit velocity. They said he's a line drive hitter. You know what I'm saying? This guy's a punch and Judy hitter. He's not going to hit the ball hard. This guy's a spray hitter. We've always had analytics in baseball. They just use different terms, and they're trying to act like they're reinventing the wheel. Dude, this stuff has been in baseball forever. You just gave it a fancy new name, and now we're slaves to it.
Right, and then the combining of batting average, slugging percentage, and on-base percentage. What the fuck are you doing?
New stats, and I can't even keep up with it.
Then I have friends who buy into this crap, and that's the war. I'm like, is the war my nuts?
Yeah. Wins above replacement. Well, who's the replacement? Because if it's Babe Ruth, then he ain't got one. You know what I'm saying? Who's the replacement? Wins above what replacement?
Right. Like I'm gonna just mention, analytics. I hate it for basketball because and I don't mean to change the subject, but
I was getting ready to say it, Mark.
I booted a dude for post. Every other post, his true shooting percentage. Motherfucker, there is no true shooting percentage because you can't combine threes, twos, and free throws together. This fucking light is killing me.
The weirdest thing, Mark, and I was gonna bring this up. I just caught on not long ago with the plus minus in the NBA.
What? How do you judge that? Break it down for me, because I don't know.
This is what they say, Mark. It's based on your minutes with, hypothetically, Dominic's in the game, and he's in the game with Mark, Chandler, Dave, and R. Their stats and what they do on the court while you're on the court goes toward your plus and minus. Because when you look at it, how can a guy have 5 points and be a plus 13? But you got to look at the 5 guys that was on the court during the time he was in the game.
What?
That's strange.
Dom, a guy could score 5 points in a certain amount of minutes. But if he does other things on the floor, like rebounds, assists, I get that.
Steals, yes.
Right, I get that. He is making a factor because not everybody is on the floor to score all the time.
And that's what I thought it was, Mark. Like, okay, hypothetically, Chandler had 5 points, 2 rebounds, 3 steals. But no, it's not like that. Guy could have had 5 points, 1 assist, 3 turnovers. But Mark, Dominic, R, and Dave did A, B, and C while you did the Z. And you're a plus 13. What?
Right. Yeah.
What?
Really?
Yeah. I really don't. I don't. I look at the numbers. I don't know how they configure them, but that adding free throws
No.
and jump shots
where you shot it from, what leg
threes
you was
together
on.
to yeah, because one dude, I was like, so dude, I'm looking at the true shooting stats 1 year, and Danny Green was the leader. So I'm like, so what does that mean? Do we run more plays for Danny Green? Because no, he's not the first option in my offense and in nobody's offense.
Right.
If here's the thing, Mark, with the statistic you're saying, not to get off of baseball or basketball, but basketball is weird. This guy could have the best, truest this and that. But did he lead the league in field goal percentage?
No.
Did he average 12 to 15 points?
Maybe. No.
But he has the highest. Come on,
true shooting percentage. And this is not to disparage Danny Green, because I think Danny Green is a good role player and he's always played well. But that analytics stuff, that crap, war my nuts again. Sick of it.
Yeah,
it's out
nonsense,
of control,
man. It's you know what it is? They've turned all of the sports into fantasy.
OBS, PBA, ABC.
Because here's the thing. Think about fantasy sports, right? Yeah, they're based on numbers with the fantasy sports, right? And that's all. People don't even root for teams anymore.
Well,
right? Like you could be a Knicks fan, but the fantasy team has say Devin Booker.
Hold on, I do fantasy sports. We don't care about WAR and OBS and true shooting percentage.
No,
none of that stuff.
But that's not
factors in fantasy football. But go ahead.
No, what I'm saying though is it's the same premise. In fantasy sports, all you care about is certain categories, right?
Right. Well,
that's all you care about.
Whoever is the
it's the same thing now in real sports. All they care about is certain categories. No?
I hear you.
Anybody? Okay. But yeah, it's about certain categories now. And that's why, like in baseball, they say, oh, wins don't matter, average don't matter, because all they care about is certain numbers. So they basically turned all the sports into fantasy sports, like basketball. Well, they care about true shooting percentage and plus minus and this and that. Did the team win? Did the guy score any points? Did he get any damn rebounds? Okay. Can you tell me if the team won? Well, but the shooting percentage was such and such, and the rebound percentage was this, and the plus minus was this. But did they win? Did they win?
Right.
Right. Yo, we got that dude in here tonight. That guy. Yo, what's up, Bishop? How you been, bro?
I'm good. Gentlemen. What's the word?
Yeah, Bishop, we're talking about the New York Yankees, and it's segue into other stuff because we were disparaging analytics. Do the New York Yankees need to fire GM Brian Cashman? Do they need to fire manager Aaron Boone? Do they need to de-emphasize their analytics department?
Analytics are not going anywhere.
No, it's not.
It's the new and exciting way to look at sports. Now it's everywhere. It's everywhere now. Somebody was able to figure out a new career, a new niche off of the professionalism and the expertise of the guys who are actually out there playing. Right. Somebody was able to, so it's kind of like it's not going anywhere. They'll just reconfigure it when they realize that it's impacting the game in a negative way. They'll reconfigure it and make it something else and highlight some other stuff. And because I was listening to something and they were disparaging analytics and saying that it doesn't tell you the heart of the player or the player in a specific circumstance. It doesn't take into account that. It just,
Well, that is true. Bishop, say like if a player is angry, he'll play differently. If somebody is hurt, they'll play differently. If they're happy and jubilant on the court, they'll play different and hyped, And analytics doesn't account for those things, which are what would you call them? Attributes.
Yeah, it's just
for another word.
the circumstances, the person's like the person itself, the person, him or herself. It doesn't
Right.
account for that. It just says, here's what we need in this situation. We need
Mm-hmm.
3 baskets. We need somebody who shoots 76%. So now it takes the team, reference in basketball, it takes the team overall free throw shooting percentage to 92% overall. Then in baseball, it's like we need X amount of doubles, X amount of home runs. So now the only thing we're doing is we hitting doubles and home runs. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. And just the what me and Mia all call the universal playbook. When you get to
Right.
about the 6th inning, you start putting in a reliever just to put a reliever in.
Right.
Because it's that time. It's the 6th inning. I have to put the reliever in, not realizing that your pitcher is rolling.
Right.
And we've seen it blow up on managers and teams all the time, where they take the guy out and he's rolling. Yeah. Y'all ready to move on?
Yeah. Before you do, Mac, I saw this and I just need to get this off my chest. I'm sick of Rob Manfred.
Why? What did he do
I'm sick
now?
of Major League Baseball. This nonsense now. We're going to allocate $150 million to a Players Alliance for Black representation. You want more Black representation? Tell your teams to draft the Black pitcher who should have been number 1 overall and instead wound up going 10th. That's how you do it. You actually draft players that should be drafted where they're supposed to be drafted. Kumar Rocker should have been the 1st or 2nd pick in the draft. He was number 10. Okay, you had guys picking high school pitchers before him. But you know what? Yeah, let's throw some money at something and give it a cool name, because that's going to change things.
Right. Well,
I'm sorry.
listen,
go ahead. You can move on.
No. We gonna stay on this for a minute. I'm in a Facebook group that's dedicated to Black children playing baseball, and it's pretty cool group. Like we got a lot of parents in there, and they're talking about, how do I get my child noticed? How do I get my kid on a better team? And just the whole what goes on in that world, and it's
right.
Baseball. I'm gonna speak from my perspective from New York. We really don't have any more PAL leagues.
Nope.
They're snatching kids, Black kids specifically, for football and basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And generally, the kid only plays one sport. He'll probably play if he's playing basketball, that's all he's playing is basketball. If he's playing football, that's all he's doing is playing football. I grew up, we played all 3 sports. Right. So, and the Hispanics always played baseball in New York City. That's their thing. And those that come from Puerto Rico, DR, South America, they play baseball. They play baseball and soccer. And white kids play baseball. So we, as a whole, and I get it that people single out certain kids. They look at, if he's gonna be over 6'4", yeah, you playing basketball. If you 6'2" and kind of husky, yeah, we're gonna send you to the gym, work on weights, and you'll be playing football. And baseball, to me, I don't watch as much baseball as I used to. I used to concentrate on every team, and now I watch the Yankees and the Mets. And I don't really watch other teams, but you guys keep me abreast of everything that goes on, and I try to stay abreast of things. Yeah, Chandler.
It's just, what? Part of it is they priced a lot of kids out of baseball.
That
I grew up playing baseball. Baseball was not expensive to play. You get a bat, somebody get a couple of bats. I played Little
Everybody
League.
shared gloves.
Yeah. And I mean the glove was the most expensive thing most of the time. It wasn't the bat, wasn't the cleats. It was the glove. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now bats cost an arm and a doggone leg. Cleat, arm and a doggone leg. Don't even get me started on it if you play on an actual team and what the uniforms are costing. Okay, Then you got these basically, let's call it AAU for baseball, the traveling teams. Listen, come on, listen, man. They are making it harder and harder for anybody that doesn't have money and or doesn't have a certain complexion to play baseball. They're making it difficult. And then again, then when they changing, I bring up Kumar Rocker because there's no reason on earth that he shouldn't have been a number 1 or number 2 pick. But then you get all the coded language. Oh, he's such an athlete. It was smart. They're always athletic. Hard. And you turning kids off. They're turning kids off just for kids like, listen, man, if I got to go through all of this, I'll just go play basketball. I'll just go play. I'll just go play football.
All I need is some sneakers and a ball, and we good.
Well, between that and more and more sports are becoming like an individual thing. Like they're not really teaching the kids how to like team aspect of it.
You're right.
It's more of what can you do, the stats that you can get, how good you can look, and the team concept of it is like, you willing to pass the ball to make someone else look good. Nah, that's frowned down upon. And it's always like, he's not a team player. Well, he'll score, but I don't know if he's intelligent enough, or he doesn't understand how to play the game. He can score, but he doesn't understand how to play the game. Or that coach language. Hey, he's a great athlete.
Well, Bishop, you know what else it is? Right, you know what it is? You brought up individualism, and that's true. It's okay, my kid is destined to go to this school because we're sending him there, and it becomes the kid has Instagram followers and Twitter followers, and because we knew about Zion when he was a sophomore. We knew about certain football players when they were sophomores in high school. Other young we knew about the Ball brothers when they were in high school. Mm-hmm. So it's about that, and that's not to disparage them, because you gotta do what you gotta do.
Right.
And it's just the politics in sports, especially AAU, high school, youth sports. Mm-hmm. It's a sewer. Yeah, you got sharks swimming around trying to bag this kid. Come play with me. And it's dirty.
Yeah, and CC Sabathia, I'm like, I don't really read people's autobiography, except maybe a Kareem, somebody like that. But in his book, there was an excerpt where they had the other day where he was talking about. Yeah, well, you're not an athlete, so. But where he said that whenever they use the phrase in baseball, play the right way, what they're really saying is play the white way. And it's to the point where and kids pick up on that real quick. And he said that all of the it's not that many black players in baseball. So basically, when CC first came in the league, there were a lot more black players, so you could have like guys you didn't like. Right. And he said it got to the point where there wasn't another black player that you couldn't have a thing where I don't like this guy, because that might be the only other black person you get to hang out with in the city as far as another baseball player. So that right after the game, hey, let's go to dinner so we can talk, because you gotta have somebody to talk to about what you're dealing with. And listen, that has filtered down into youth baseball, into high school baseball, and into college baseball. And that's why it's so hard for young black kids to really fall in love with the sport, because, I mean, listen, baseball was always this way, honestly. but it was never, I guess, as much in your face when we were coming up as it is. Like when we were growing up, there was a lot of black players in baseball. If you think about what they call a golden age of baseball, right? The golden age of baseball was what? 50s, 60s, 70s, right? It was golden age, what they claim, right?
And
that was all after
the 80s
integration.
were great.
Right. It was after integration, though. Right? Now baseball is trash. Why is baseball trash now? Because there ain't no black people in baseball. I'm just saying.
Right. And with that, we gonna move on. Connor McGregor lost to Dustin Poirier and is exposed. For me, I'm gonna say his elite fighter days are over. What are you guys' thoughts on him losing again? This is the second time he's lost to Dustin.
I wish they'd have amputated his leg. Can't stand that clown. Go ahead, Bishop.
No, I'm saying at this point he's an exhibition fighter. You know, like he can give you a good build up to a fight.
Oh yeah, sell it.
He can get people. Yeah, he can get people interested, and you know, people want to come out and see the Irish. What do you call it? The Irish pinata. Get pounded on, you know, and then he could talk crap afterwards and laugh because he's gotten paid a whole lot of money to basically get his ass kicked or something that he could have done going to the local bar, getting his ass kicked, driving a few drinks. And getting his ass kicked for free. So he said, yeah, I'll get my ass kicked and I get paid a whole bunch of money for it. But it's like, you're no Mayweather. You know, you're no Mayweather. You drew people in the last couple of times because you're fighting, you know, outside of your normal realm, and they wanted to have hope. But it's like your days are over. You weren't that good when you were in your prime, but it was just the feature of the like who you were fighting. And now it's like the female version of a male version of the Ronda Rousey.
Oh
it's
yeah.
Like, you were good when nobody else was doing it like that, but now everybody else is doing it. So it's like, your skill set is not.
Well, he's 22-7. He's 3-4 in his last MMA fights, 0-1 in boxing. Dude, you and the blueprint to beat you is kick him in his legs because he gets tired fast, and don't let him strike you because he was a good striker and he was a good guy. If he got you on the ground, he'd win. But now it's just get him back. If you get him past the third round, he kill him in the fourth and the fifth round because after the second round he's done. And like you said, Bishop, he is Ronda Rousey, the male version.
Yeah. It's like the best thing for him was to make that Mayweather money, but the worst thing for him was to make the Mayweather money because...
Oh, yeah. He got happy.
Yeah, it's like, I don't even think it's like after making that kind of money, it's like going back to like just normal, normal wages, what I would call penance wages. It's like, yeah, I can't get up for this. But
listen, you know what the jacuzzi. Well, we have this thing. Me, R, and my brother Hollop. We have this thing we call the jacuzzi effect.
Right.
It's when you make that, you get that big splash of that big money, and you sitting in your jacuzzi all the time. And you have an Instagram model or two around you, in the jacuzzi with you. And you jacuzzi affecting. You now got the Bentley. You got got whatever car. You bought a mansion or two. You're blinged out with the clothes. Now you're making endorsement deals. So you're not even in the gym anymore, working on your craft. And that's what happened to him after fighting Mayweather. He got a taste of the good life, and he don't want to go back. But you still got to fight. And with the money he made, he really shouldn't not need to fight because he made other outside deals after the Mayweather fight. Go ahead, Chandler.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, that liquor company, listen, is making him money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even understand why anybody paid to see this fight, because anybody that's been watching, I'm just sick of them. You know what I'm saying? I'm sick of them because, again, there's
Right.
other fighters that UFC could be promoting and we could be seeing some good fights.
And they
Instead, this is the trash that they putting out there. So, I mean, but yeah, and now they talking about, I'll make a 4th fight. Listen,
No, you won't.
if
I
you
won't see
pay
it.
whoever you are, the generic collective you, if you pay
Right.
for a 4th fight between McGregor and Poirier, listen, man, I'm gonna come find you and I'm gonna slap you.
Right. Listen, I didn't pay for this fight. I saw it days later on YouTube. I wasn't paying for that crap.
It's the name. It's the name recognition, and you can kind of like pimp the name out.
Yeah, they listen. They made their money. They made their money off of this fight.
Right, in the UFC, that guy. He's all. You can see he's a sleaze. Like, he don't care. Like, if he could. The guy
Dana
who runs
White.
Dana White. Yeah.
Oh, Dana White is a big piece of.
Yeah, and it's like, yo, I don't care. Like, whatever money if I could wheel a disabled person out there and people would pay to see them fight, I would do it.
Listen, he's Don King, Bob Arum, and every other sleazy promoter rolled up into one.
Yep.
I know it's guys I debate with, the MMA guys, UFC guys, and I'm like, UFC is in who's their superstar besides Connor McGregor, and he doesn't promote what's the Spanish sister? Dom. I mean Chandler.
Man, I just lost the name. Amanda Nunes.
Amanda Nunes. You should have. Once she not Rousey. Once she cleaned out all the superstars. Rousey. Yep. She cleaned out the girl who beat Rousey. She even beat the one. I was like, I hope you don't fight her. She cleaned her clock.
Mm-hmm.
And you never really promoted her as a star. One, because she's brown. Two, you looked at
she's brown.
Yeah, that's the main part is that she's brown. Two, she is attractive. You didn't think she was attractive enough, and so you wasted her prime years. She beat Cyborg.
And Ronda Rousey is? You were throwing all of your hopes and dreams behind Ronda Rousey, and then when she fought, like, when the sport caught up, and then she started fighting women who were, like, on her same level and tougher, and kind of like the skill set, she was getting away with it because she was just bigger and stronger. And she was a wrecking ball when she was in her prime. She would just run through these chicks.
Oh, right. Also, they were picking and choosing who she should fight and who to stay away from. You know how that works. And she was the star. But then when Holly Holm caught her, we was like, oh, snap. Then she fought Amanda Nunes. It was like, oh, snap, again. And she was like, yo, I'm out of here. I'm going to do some wrestling and try some acting.
Yep. Went to wrestling, go do some movies. I mean, you got Masvidal. You have guys that they could promote. You have women they could promote. But again, and you know what? I wish that I knew who ran Bellator, because whoever's running Bellator, UFC is vulnerable. You could take over the sport if you wanted to, just by promoting your people and making a couple of contracts, whatever. But for whatever reason, Bellator's content to be a distant number 2, and that's fine, I guess, for them. If that's all they want, all the money they want to make, it is what it is. But I'm like, dude, I don't even follow UFC like you, because the fighters I want to see, you don't want to put those fights together. You don't want to promote them, but you want to keep shoving John Jones who ain't met a drug chase he hasn't failed, and Conor McGregor in my face. I don't care about either one of them. Give me the guys give me the fighters I want to see.
Well,
Right.
There's some
you're probably
good
looking at
young fighters, good young women, good
Right. And then
women
you got guys
fighters.
who are retiring, you know, they're aging out. Like the Nate Diaz's, I forget homeboy, he's retiring. And
Habib retired.
Habib retired. So
I would be interested to see what the contracts are with the ones that they keep promoting, and what the contracts are with the newer ones, because maybe they get more of a lion's share of the guys that they promote.
No. Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey made top money. They've been jerking Amanda Nunes. She should get paid more than she's been getting paid. I mean, you got a multi-divisional weight champion who cleaned all the big names out, and you still don't pay her. UFC got an influx of money because a bigger entity bought into them, and you know, and they still haven't consistently come to the numbers that boxing does in terms of pay-per-view numbers.
Well, you got to think too. This guy he's a supporter. You can't imagine the nonsense that goes on in his head. You know what I mean? They want to promote a certain persona, the great American fighter, the most rugged, the most toughest, and yada 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 yada. And it has to look a certain way,
right?
Because we're the premier, and so forth and so on. And
I didn't get into MMA until I saw John Jones and I saw a couple other brothers. And no disrespect to anybody else, but y'all do it too. Y'all watch who y'all want to. Y'all flock to your people and we flock to our people. So, but then I started watching it. I was like, yo, when I saw Amanda Nunes, I was like, yo, that shorty is gonna hurt somebody. Like I seen on undercards, I'm like, yo, she is vicious. And then I like Holly Holm, because Holly Holm is a boxer first and just a technician in MMA or boxing. And you know, it is what it is. Like Chandler said, UFC is vulnerable. Bellator scooped up Cyborg, but Cyborg is near the end of her career. So
yeah, that's the problem. Is she's pretty much done because she's aged out. I mean, she probably can still give you a serviceable fight, but she's never going to be what she was. You know, I mean, I go back to Chuck Liddell and Randy Couture. You know what I'm saying? Was that
those some fights?
You know, and what's my man? The one that played in the A-Team movie, Jackson, I think his last name is.
Yeah.
You know, those guys. You know what I'm saying? But now it's. I'm really turned off by UFC now. I'm really turned off by it. There are some good fighters, you know, to watch, but unfortunately, we don't get to see them. And until Dana White decides that he's only going to promote 3 fighters, change it, you know what I'm saying, which he's not going to do because they're making them money. You know, they're cash cows for him. So, you know, if that cow's continuing to give you chocolate milk, why would you stop milking it?
Right. With that, let's move on. Conor McGregor is done, in my opinion. Let's move on. NBA Finals. Milwaukee Bucks win Game 3. The Suns' lead is now 2-1. Giannis, 2 games of 40-plus points. That's the name, Rampage Jackson. Thank you, Vic Shepard. Thank you, brother, and thank you, Ronan. I had an interesting discussion on Twitter today. You know, Giannis and Shaq are the only 2 people to have a 40-plus game with 10 rebounds. And then the dude was like, well, you can't mention Shaq and him because Giannis don't have rings, and you should never mention Giannis with Shaq. I'm like, dummy. They both are the only 2 players in the NBA to ever have a 40-plus game back-to-back with 10 rebounds. Shut up. I thought it would be a sweep. I fully admit that, so I was wrong on that. I still think the Suns are going to win, but now it's 2-1. What are you guys' thoughts on what's been transpiring in the series?
I still think 6 games. Honestly, I think I said 6 games in the beginning. 5 games or 6 games. I don't think it's going more than 6. Listen, I understand what Giannis has done. I also understand the pushback when he's linked with Shaq, not because and not I'm not talking stat wise. Shaq could dominate a game and you knew he was dominating the game. You look at Giannis and you look up and then you're like, oh my God, he got 40 points. You know what I'm saying? Because you half the time all you see is him dribbling straight at guys and kicking the ball off his foot and missing free throws. That's the stuff that kind of stands out to you with him.
It does.
But I mean, listen, the kid is supremely talented and athletic and all of those good groovy things. But that team ain't gonna beat the Phoenix Suns because Phoenix is a better team and they're better coached.
Right. I'm gonna say this. Giannis in Milwaukee, he hit 13 to 17 from the free throw line in Game 3. He has to do that in Phoenix though. Monty Williams complained. He said, we only went to the line 16 times. And Monty has to realize they don't want you to sweep Milwaukee, Monty. They wanted to go at least 6 games so they could make that money.
Whoa. The reason why they're not going to the free throw line is because they're shooting a bunch of jump shots. That's it. The reason why Milwaukee is going to the free throw line so much is because they just keep fouling Giannis with the hopes that he misses the free throws. Jay Crowder, Bridges, all of these guys are just fouling him, hoping that he misses the free throws. And last night it didn't work out for him.
And Booker had a bad game.
Right. If he would have shot, which is what I keep saying. Like, I can't see Phoenix beating them because Phoenix is too hot and cold offensively. And it's like, for me, it's like if you look at the two teams, Phoenix plays really well in Phoenix. And they look really good in Phoenix. But when they leave Phoenix, it's like something happens. It's like they don't play the same. They don't look the same. And to me, it's like Milwaukee is making this series so much harder than it has to be. It's like they have nobody to match up with Giannis. They got nobody to match up with Brook Lopez. You just keep Chris Paul and Devin Booker, keep them in switches and pick and rolls and having mismatches. Let Chris Paul have to keep guarding Chris Middleton. Let Booker have to keep guarding Drew Holiday off the pick and roll. It's like neither one of those guys. Chris Paul, he tries, but he's not the defender he used to be. And Booker, it's like defense. It's like I could take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying? I don't. It's like really like defense is not really my thing. That's like in high school. In high school, I played defense. In college, for the cup of tea that I had in college, I really didn't have to. And now being in the league in the Western Conference, defense for me is like optional. I'm light skinned, I can shoot. That's all everybody's concerned about.
Whoa. Why we gotta go to the skin tone, bro?
Because that's just who I am.
It's light skin dudes that play D.
I'm like Chandler. That's just who I am. Because
he light skinned it, he don't play D now.
He don't play D. No, he don't play D.
Nope.
He plays no D.
See, our dark skinned brothers got to play D.
Yeah, he plays no D. And I'm like, okay, so why in Phoenix were they allowed to, like Devin Booker was just like, it was like practice for him. Like, I'm coming over here, I'm shooting, I'm taking these 2 dribbles right here, I'm pulling up, I'm like, well, what's going on offense? Chris Paul,
he dribbling the ball. Light skin, bro.
He dribbling the ball between his legs, behind his back, doing the in and out, just being easy, like it's a dribbling drill, and then pulling up at the free throw line extended whenever he wants to, and it's just all good. And I'm like, well, how come they're not playing defense? Because Giannis scored 40 points in Game 2, but Giannis blew the whole offense up to get those 40 points. And it's like Game 3, You saw a difference
Right.
in, okay, Giannis, get off the ball. Get off the ball. You're going to get your points regardless because they got nobody to match up with you. We'll get you some easy points. I don't need you up top dribbling for 16 seconds looking goofy. It's like, I
They
don't,
remember what you said either a week ago or the last show that they needed to get him in Middleton and pick and rolls. They did that
yes,
in Game
yes.
3. But it's
But they don't
Budenholzer, so
repeat
he's
itself.
gonna go back
Right.
to the
It's-
BS.
It's not Budenholzer. It's
Right.
Giannis. It's Giannis. He's
No,
like,
it's
he does whatever he wants. He does what he
Bishop.
breaks plays.
So Bishop, if you know, I coach kids, and I have coached kids. When we had really good kids,
Mhm.
and they father is somebody, you know, whatever. And even in school, your coach gotta coach, not just let you do whatever you want to do, and that's on him because he's letting Giannis do that.
Yeah,
You can't.
well,
He
Yep.
seems like he's afraid to
yes.
to sit Giannis down. Like I watched this. I watched the last game. I saw Monty Williams saw enough of Booker, and he set him down in the middle of the fourth quarter. Where if you put him back in, maybe he makes a difference and changes the outcome a little. But he set him down because he's like, yo, my man, you wilding out tonight. Have a seat, rest up, be ready for Game 4. Budenholzer won't do that to Giannis.
It's like, okay,
No, he
so
won't.
when you get that rebound, and which is what you're supposed to do, because there's no way that Aiden is supposed to be getting 19, 20-something rebounds when you and Brook Lopez is out there on the court. With you out there on the court, like he should be getting very limited rebounds with Giannis
Brother,
out there on the court.
he has Brook Lopez floating, and I like Brook's game. He got him floating out around the 3-point line. He ain't gonna get no
Right.
rebounds.
Yeah, but on defense,
If he-
I'm talking about on defense. Like, so on the offensive end for Phoenix, like Aiden should not be getting those rebounds, should not be getting second chance.
Well, that's
like,
effort.
And it's like, okay, so if Phoenix want to zone up, you zone up. Put Brook Lopez in the middle. Put Giannis in the middle. Brook Lopez on one side, and put what's his name? The other kid on the other side with Tucker, and you put the two up top, and let them shoot you out. Let Devin Booker and Chris Paul shoot you out of the game. Because Bridges is like, okay, well, you got them two bigs on the wings. He ain't gonna just be free flowing to hit corner threes, and let them beat you by shooting threes. It ain't happening.
Well, Bishop, Brook Lopez has never been a great rebounder. He's okay. He's never been a great defender. He's okay. So you asking him to do something he
so
really
put Bobby
doesn't
Portis
do.
in. So put Bobby Portis in.
I think
Bobby
Lopez-
Portis isn't a great rebounder either because another one. He floating around the 3 line, and Bobby Portis is a better defender, but neither one of them are great rebounders. Giannis is doing yeoman work on the boards.
No, this is gonna come back down to. Yeah, he is.
Go ahead,
But
Shannon.
this is going to come back down to the same thing that we said last series, and then they lucked up, and you're going to come Game 3. But we know he's not going to continue that for the next however many games there are.
Right.
So you don't have to really worry about this. Drew Holiday has not shown up at all in this series.
Shows
I
up
don't know
in
where
spurts.
Drew Holiday is, bro.
Nah, it's
Okay, listen, they need to put an ATP out for Drew Holiday.
Nah, if you look at the games, what's been happening is they've been asking Drew Holiday to guard Chris Paul, to guard Devin Booker. He's coming off of like 3, 4, 5 screens guarding these guys, and then you expect him to sporadically run the offense when it's like when Giannis gets the ball and looks him off, and it's like, no, dude, you gotta allow him to put pressure back on Chris Paul. You gotta allow him to put pressure back on Devin Booker. Make them have to guard him. It's
Bishop,
like,
that's on the coach because I
well,
watched him.
yeah.
Middleton also gets the ball sometimes, and he takes it and does what he wants to do, whether it's score or whatever. But they both of them break plays.
But that's on the point guard, though, Mac. That's on the point guard because
and that's
at the
on
end
the
of the
coach.
day, well, it might be on the coach, but if you're the point guard on the floor, go take the ball from him.
Nah, that's easier said than done.
How can he when once they get it? I've seen Drew have that. I play point guard. He have that look on his face like, yo, and then you don't want to fight on. You don't want that energy on court, so he allows that. But that's also on the coach. Coach got, he's a point guard. Get him the ball.
Right. You could get an
Let
easy
him
basket.
run.
What are timeouts for?
You could get
what are timeouts for? In the timeout, you go over and say, listen, man. You go over and you say, listen, man. Next time you get the ball, you give me the damn ball. You never seen it again.
Right.
Just that's impossible. At some point, Drew Holiday got to take charge of this team, man.
That's impossible. That's impossible.
But Chandler, have you? I don't see Budenholzer talk to Giannis. Rarely do I see him have a conversation with him on, when there's a timeout, dead balls. I don't see them interact. That's telling for me.
You're a superstar.
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
it is. I mean,
superstars get coached.
Okay, I watched other superstars get coached.
Right.
Yeah, some of it is just like I used to think Budenholzer on the offensive end. I'm like, I don't understand why you have this engine here in Middleton, 50, 40, 90, and you're not using him. And then I watched him play, and I'm like, now I see why. Now I see why he's underutilized. Giannis takes that ball off the rim. He brings it down. He's up top, dribbling some more, looking all goofy and awkward. And then when there's about 16 seconds left, he wants to pretend like he's LeBron James. He'll back up, get a running start, get an offensive foul, or throw the ball to somebody on the wings in an awkward manner, and they do just well enough to shoot it and hit, like Connaughton and these guys will hit those side threes. Every once in a while, he'll pass it out to Middleton at the top. But I think what Giannis does is he plays like he's afraid that somebody else is going to shine. And it's like he's got to be the one to shine.
It's not even about him. It's not about him shining. It's the coach, bro.
That's part of it too.
I think
that's part of it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chandler. And then you go, Bishop. Go ahead, Chandler.
I was agreeing with y'all. Listen, I think Budenholzer would be a great coach for a team without a superstar. I think he'd be a great coach for that. He's the wrong coach for this team. And I know they're in the finals, but he's not the coach that's going to get them to win the championship unless Phoenix just has a full cranial rectal inversion, in one of the games at Phoenix.
And Booker continues to play badly. And partly it's the defense they threw on him in the last game.
But if you look at his offense, Booker is not really like he can shoot, he scores, but he's not super deceptive with his moves. Like he has the same moves, so he's guardable. 2 dribbles, 3 dribbles, pull up. 3 dribbles.
It's not a pull up. He does the step back.
The mid range, in the mid range game, he's got that. He gets to a spot, he pulls up, and he shoots. At the 3-point line, he's got the step back.
Right.
But in the perimeter, like in the short range game, those in between shots, he just dribbles to a spot, pulls up.
So ask me why he still averages close to 30 points a night.
Oh, because he gets those shots. He gets a lot of calls. And Chris Paul gets him a lot of easy opportunities. Like they always have mismatches. They always have mismatches. And I'm saying like, okay, well, if you got Connaughton guarding, like I always see Connaughton guarding either Chris Paul or Devin Booker. And I'm like, how is it that they're able to figure out where the mismatches are, but you're not able to figure out where the mismatches are? And then I realized, okay, well, in these 2 games that they've lost, Giannis has thrown a hand grenade in offense and basically has done whatever he needed to do to get his numbers. In yesterday's game, if he hadn't shot those 2 3-pointers, he was 14 for 21. 14 for 21 from the field. That's a superb shooting percentage for his position. 14 for 21, but he had to jack up 2 3-pointers for some reason. And it's like, okay, fine. You finally hit your free throws. Which means that you
He was
are
13
capable.
to he was 13 to 17 from the free throw
respectable.
line.
That's respectable. You are
No, that's
capable.
more than respectable.
Well, considering where we've gone for a 2-time MVP, where it's kind of like the big thing is him making this whole big deal over his free throws, and you go to the line and you got to air shoot like 3 times, and then you got to get the ball, and then you position your feet again, and you dribble in like 15 times.
Everybody has they thing they do
ridiculous.
on the free throw line.
It's ridiculous. It's way too much production of a free throw. Get the ball, take a deep breath, 2 dribbles, let it out, and shoot.
Everybody,
move on.
Listen, that shoulder shrug that Kevin Durant does, that bothers me. But everybody does what they need, what they have to do at the free throw line.
What's Kevin Durant's shooting percentage at the free throw line? He's
money. High.
He's money. So you know what? And he don't take 15 seconds to do it either.
You know what? This is overblown. There's other players who take a lot of time. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, Bishop, because I hear what you're saying. And if you can see that watching TV, and this is why we keep going back to coaching. If you can see that watching the game on TV, they have people whose only job it is to watch the tape of the game, cut the tape of hey, this is what it get, this is what it getting us, this is what it get, this was. Then the coach at some point has to see that and then go to his player and say, listen, man, we win the game if you do this.
Right.
Okay?
Also,
at some point, he has to be willing to piss off that star player, because here's the thing. You piss Giannis off, but y'all win a championship, you get fired. You will coach in this league for the rest of your life because you have won a championship.
Right. Now you fade into obscurity and will be looking for a assistant job or maybe go to college.
I watched this dude. I watched Budenholzer with that like constipated look on his face, like all the time when on the sideline, when he sees Giannis is breaking a play, or like somebody posted in one of these groups a picture of Giannis pretending like he's showing leadership, and like during the timeout. It's like, dude, this is after you've broken like 10 to 15 plays, and we down, and now you want to come on the sideline and try to act like you a leader. It's like, yo, dude, like Drew Holiday never acknowledged him. He never acknowledged him. Like he never lifted his head.
And Bishop, camaraderie and playing together, that's all on the coach. He allows all of that.
Yeah. You don't even have to like each other. I don't think Shaq and Kobe liked each other, but it's like, okay, well, if we're gonna win, this is what needs to happen in order for us to win.
My college team, it was like 3-4 dudes I did not like. I was not fucking with them off the court. But on the court, we knew, yo, whatever I feel about you, we gotta do what we gotta do. And we didn't ever win a title, but we were always making runs in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. You don't have nobody. I don't care where you're at, work, military, whatever. You have people that you just don't get along with. You still got to be professional.
Yep.
And recognize if that person is important to your success. While we here for these 8 hours or whatever it is, man, listen, we gonna laugh, joke, we gonna get this thing done. We walking out the parking lot, don't say nothing to me and don't get in front of my car. All right.
Right.
That's Magic. I mean, come on, man. This is not hard, but this
Magic
comes back
and Kareem didn't agree.
Sorry,
Magic and Kareem weren't friends.
Nope.
And that's partly because of, the age difference.
Age. Yeah. And Magic was a clown, but Giannis, that's a whole other story.
Giannis just like that dude just doesn't listen. He just doesn't listen. I know it's like
the coach ain't saying nothing though.
Right. It's like
What is there to listen to?
at a certain point, it's just like, dude, it's a waste of time because I tell this dude, and then he goes out there and does exactly what he wants to do. And I'm not defending Bud because I think whether they win, lose, or draw, I think they still need a new coach.
Right. Listen, when Bud
Yes,
was in
definitely,
Atlanta, right?
definitely.
Wasn't Atlanta? I know dudes were saying, "Yo, Atlanta gonna win a title. They gonna do this and that." Atlanta had 5 good players. They had 6, 7 good players at every position. Why didn't they go further than the second round?
Because that was as far as he could get him. Like I said, he's a good foundation setter. If you got a young team, you want to get them to a certain point. I think he's the perfect guy for you.
Like,
he's not the guy that's going to
Right.
coach you to a championship. He's not taking you over the top. He's not.
right.
So he's a good coach for a team like Orlando.
I
Yes,
don't know
Established.
yes.
Indiana. He's a good coach for
Indiana,
Indiana.
maybe.
Yeah.
What are you guys' predictions for Game 4? Who's winning the game?
Phoenix.
Bucks.
Okay. Let's move on. Staying in the lane of the NBA. But go ahead, Chandler. Finish that, and then we're gonna move on.
No. I was just gonna say Giannis reverts back to Giannis, but go ahead.
Yeah, we had this discussion in our text group about Orlando. The Orlando Magic hired Jamahl Moseley to a 4-year deal. He was an assistant coach in Dallas, and not the last year. After the bubble season, he got a lot of interviews for head coaching jobs. He didn't get them, but he got this one. What are you guys' thoughts on Jamahl Moseley being the Orlando head coach?
I don't think it matters who their coach is, honestly. The team is awful. The management is awful.
Right.
And I really wish that sometimes these guys that really only going to get maybe one shot at the apple, one bite at the apple, being coaches, had the ability to be like, "Nah, I don't want to work for you because you're a clown." But he might not never get another job offer. You know what I'm saying? That's to be a head coach. So you got to take the trash job. I mean, I'm still pissed off that Darvin Ham and Sam Cassell are not getting more consideration. But listen, it is what it is.
Right.
They've
gotten interviews.
Right, but I think they should have jobs. But I think if he gets to coach the full 4 years, and they don't do what they have done to just about every coach there, which is halfway through, they decide, okay, we done with the rebuild. Now we're gonna go out bringing a bunch of names, pay a bunch of money. You better win a championship, or we're gonna fire you. If they actually try to let this man build a foundation, maybe they got a shot. But I just hope the brother gets a second job. Let me just put it like, I hope he gets a second job.
Right. Go ahead, Bishop.
Yeah, I agree with Chandler when you just said like nobody cares. Yeah, that was a perfect segue. It's like, yeah, okay, fine. You put a face in there, that's fine. They still suck. They will still suck, and nobody cares. They'll probably win like 20 games this coming season, maybe 30.
No,
30.
they
Well,
got rid of everybody. They got
sometimes
rid
just showing up teams win, and it's like I didn't say they would win it consistently. They got 82 games. They could eke out 30 wins in 82 games. They could eke out 32, like 2 here, 3 here. Spread it out over the season. Come the All-Star break, teams are resting players. They eke out a win. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be. I know the shooter that they had that they shipped to Boston. He was a big part of Fournier. Yeah, he was a big part of their success. But don't they still got the big dude there?
No, they got rid of Aaron Gordon.
No, not Aaron Gordon. The big man.
No, they got
7-footer.
Rid of him too.
Yeah. Well,
he went to Chicago.
They did a fire
sale. Him to Chicago.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, fine. They can eke out 20 to 30 wins, and you spread it out over the 82 games. You spread it out over the 82 games. You catch some people slipping. And but that's the best.
They still got Markel
Yeah.
Fultz. They got Cole Anthony.
Yeah, that's the best they can hope for.
Still got my man Terrence Ross.
Jacket.
Yeah. They now have they got Wendell Carter Jr. from Chicago.
They got
That's the big man.
Yeah.
Healthy, unfortunately. Yeah, he can't stay healthy.
You get a couple. You get a couple of young bigs, and you never know. You might luck up and get 20, 30 games during the season. Nothing, just to hang your hat on and say, hey, well, we did better than what we expected, and we still in the lottery.
They got rid of Vujacic. They got rid of Fournier. They got rid of Aaron Gordon. That was a playoff team.
They didn't play well together. I think
that's partly the coach.
I think what's the name thought he should have been more focused and a more focal point in the offense. And
no, Clifford tried to turn Aaron Gordon into a point forward and have the offense run through him. Bad move.
No, I'm talking about like scoring wise. He should have been used he should have used his athleticism more to feature him in the offense, not have him run the offense. Run plays for him.
Bishop, did you hear what I said? Steve Clifford had him playing point forward and running making him play point forward. That's why it did not work.
Yeah, I don't think of Aaron Gordon as a cerebral player that's going to set the table for others.
But that was also directed from up above because they were paying Aaron Gordon all that money. So then it was, Aaron Gordon has to be the focal point because we're paying him all this money. Like I said, that's the management in midstream flipped the script and said, no, now it's got to be this. So like Bishop said, man, that team is just terrible all the way around.
Terribly managed.
Yeah.
The owner is an ass clown. You had three generational players in your time, Shaq and Penny, and you let Shaq leave. You're a dummy. You didn't want to pay Shaq. You're a dummy. You had Dwight Howard, and for whatever reason, Dwight Howard wanted to leave Orlando. Smart move. It's just where he went didn't work out. But
yeah, he wanted to get away from Stan Van Gundy.
That too.
Frantic Stan.
Right, and then now you built a team. You stayed in lottery land and maybe 7th or 8th place in the playoffs every now and then. You keep bringing in coaches every 2 years. They drafted well. Listen, they drafted Victor Oladipo. They drafted Vujacic. They drafted Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, they've drafted well.
You drafted Cole Anthony.
They traded from off the field.
Right. And then you decide for whatever reason to blow the team up. Maybe they needed to make a move, moving one of those guys from the front court instead of all three of them. But the owner's a dummy. I feel for Jamahl, because and Jamahl, why your mother just didn't have you? Where the H come in? Why can't it just be Jamahl, Jamal? But that's another story. I gotta speak to your family about that. But bro, he's gonna get maybe a year or two with this team.
Well, I think he'll finish out most of his contract because who's gonna want that job? Who's gonna want that job?
Same person like him.
Yeah, somebody like him. Yeah.
Or a retread will take that job.
Yeah. Once they get some talent, they'll throw him overboard for a Stan Van Gundy type or Scott Brooks or somebody like that nonsense.
The only thing they got to do is show a little promise, be like the Sacramento of the East. Show a little promise. Don't deliver on anything, but just show a little promise.
Bro, they haven't. The roster is horrible.
Yeah.
They have good players, but those players alone don't move the needle. I know it's not on the docket, but there's rumors in Cleveland that Cleveland is looking to trade Colin Sexton, and Knicks fans, some want him and some don't want him. Cleveland's moving him because his extension is coming up, and they don't want to pay him, and they don't want to pay Garland. But Cleveland, you drafted two players who are similar. Why?
Because the owner doesn't like paying the general managers, so the general managers just start sabotaging the damn team. That's what it looks like to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I would take Colin Sexton because I think just getting out of Cleveland will help him.
Right.
Like we talked about Kevin Porter Jr. the other day. Getting out suddenly he out of Cleveland, suddenly you don't hear his name in anything negative anymore.
Right.
I think Colin Sexton has more than the talent to be a star in this league. I think he needs coaching and development. And
right
now, if we had, say, some of the clown coaches with the Knicks that we had before, I would be like, hell no. Let him go somewhere where he can actually, advance his career. I think under Thibodeau, I think Colin Sexton would be an all-star in 2 seasons.
Right. Bishop?
Yeah, initially I was not, depending on what they had to give up for him, I was not. But it looks like
they don't have a lot to give up.
They don't have a lot to give, but Cleveland can't really demand a lot because it's a losing situation. You can always come back and say, yeah, he had gaudy stats on a losing team. But I agree with you, Chandler. I think under Tibbs, it would eliminate a lot of the wild and reckless offense that he has. So I watched some of those games, and it's just like, dude, like why'd you take that shot? Like why were you there? Like why?
Right.
Like what's going on? Like I don't like that didn't fit in anything that you guys just ran. None of those shots fit into that. So it's like just the unbridled wildness on offense. I think Thibodeau would rein that in.
Well, Bishop, him and Garland had the green light in Cleveland because it was just them two.
Right.
They had the green light. So when you have the green light, and in spite of him being wild at times, he shot decently this last year.
Yeah. I remember him lighting up Brooklyn for 42 on back-to-back nights. I remember that.
He shot 40%.
Yeah, that kid got talent.
No, actually, last year he shot 37% from the three, excuse me. And he averaged 24 points a game.
Yeah, he could be like Ja Morant. I think with the right team in the right situation, he could be very similar player to Ja Morant.
Athlete as him, but go ahead, Chandler.
Right, not as explosive, but he's got some. Listen, that kid can play, and you give him the right team and the right coach. I think he's can be an important piece in the team going deep on a deep playoff run.
Right, and listen, if he came to the Knicks, he wouldn't have to score as much because the Knicks run a motion offense, so he wouldn't be a traditional point guard, which he is not. And Randall is the hub of the Knicks offense, so he would shoot less but be more efficient.
Yep.
Yeah, that would solve a lot of their
because Tibbs ain't having it.
Yeah, that would solve a lot of their perimeter issues.
Right,
he can shoot. He can shoot,
and he can play defense. He can play defense when he wants.
They wouldn't be able to hone in on Randall because it's like, well, wait a minute, there's a leak over here. And he creates off of the dribble. He can create his own shot off the dribble. Now, the only apprehension that I have is he willing to run and play point guard and get 10 to 15 shots a game and run the point for the team? At that point, you're assuming that the bigs will be back, the young big will be back. Are you willing to establish a rapport with the big, throw him oops. You know, he needs like 6 to 7 of those easy basket opportunities. You got, you know, quickly. You got these guys that they need to get shots. So are you willing to be that guy? That's the only apprehension that I would have on that. Are you willing to be that guy, or are you
Well,
too stuck in having the green light and being able to put up your numbers?
he wasn't that guy in college. Now
Right,
he it was more structured.
right,
Cleveland two bad coaches in a row.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Roster horrible.
yes.
Cleveland is a dumpster fire. It's a
Yeah.
flyover city,
Hmm.
and they're gonna stay where they are because no big name free agent goes there. Players looking for another deal will go to Cleveland, but you know it is what it is. I hope he gets out of Cleveland. I hope actually Garland gets out of Cleveland as well
He's too
because they're too
inconsistent, though.
well. They're both talented players, and they stuck in a city where you got the green light because the team is bad and the roster is bad. So you the best player, so ball's in your hands. And they play very similar.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it depends
I
on
can see him in
what
Miami.
it depends on what his expectation is. Depends on what his expectation is, because yeah, you're looking for big bucks, and you coming from the situation that you coming from, you're not demanding, like, I don't think you're gonna be getting max contract money, you know, like
I
that you
think
could
he'll
get.
get over 100. I think he could get over 100 million because they're going to look at two
Potential.
stats. Now they're going to look at two stats. He scores a lot and he shoots the three ball solidly, so he'll get paid.
Mm-hmm. And also, if let's say he goes to the Knicks or a team with what's considered a good head coach,
Right.
and he accepts a role that maybe his numbers are less, but he becomes more important and becomes a better player.
Right.
Then the better teams will want to give you money because okay, listen, okay, Cleveland was Cleveland. We ain't gonna worry about that. But we saw what you did when you were asked to blend. Okay, and now we want to bring you in here and get you to blend in with us so we can get better. So yeah, if he comes and he does what Tibbs asks of him, he will get paid.
Right.
Let's move
Starting
on.
point guard job is his. There's no question. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, the starting PG job is his.
Right. Let's move on. Brooklyn Nets. Point guard Spencer Dinwiddie. He's opting out. He recently said on somebody else's, might have been a podcast or an interview. He said he wants $125 million 5-year deal from the Brooklyn Nets. He also stated, "Yo, I could get $60 million from anybody else." Currently, he'd make about $12.3 million if he had opted in. What are your thoughts on my man Spencer Dinwiddie and his running his mouth again?
Spencer Dinwiddie being Spencer Dinwiddie. I think he's a good guard. I mean, I think he's a good, solid guard, and
he's talented.
He would fit in on a lot of teams as their lead in New Jersey. He said, I mean, in Brooklyn, he said that because he knows that they're not keeping him. That's the reason why they got Mike James.
But they can't afford him.
Right, but the reason why they got Mike James is because there's no space for him there, because you can't have that much talent in the backcourt with Kyrie in the roster. You can't. And I'm surprised, like, the kid Mike James, he showed flashes that if they lost Kyrie, like, they would be okay. So you're not going to have two potential threats on the bench. And Spencer Dinwiddie, yeah, he brings the business, and in that lead point guard role, he proved that, I'm the bill of goods. Like, I can deliver. You know,
and he could play off the ball as well.
Right. Nice that they needed him to put up numbers. He put up numbers. Nice that they needed him to kind of like be that facilitator and be that guy to blend in. He was able to do that as well, and it was no problem. So it's like I don't know if he's gonna get that much, but he can get in there.
Well, he stated he wanted that from the Nets.
See, my problem with Dinwiddie is I watch a lot of Nets games, and the last 2 to 3 minutes of games, he's terrible. He makes poor decisions.
Yes.
He takes bad shots. So for me, first of all, no, he's a no for me. But as you said, because of the numbers and other things, somebody's going to pay him. Now, my issue with him though is, and still is, and has always been, he thinks he's better than he is. See, he reminds me a lot of Eric Bledsoe. Everywhere Eric Bledsoe went, he complained that somebody was getting more shots than him. Somebody was playing more minutes than him. He was better than whoever everywhere he went. Eric Bledsoe had a problem with something. Dinwiddie has had a problem with something in Brooklyn every season. This was before Kyrie got there.
Well,
okay?
Not a problem. He just runs his mouth.
Well, same. So now, where you going to go, Spencer? Because you only getting 60. All right. So now that you know you're getting 60, right? Because the only teams that I can see giving him 25 and only giving him that for one season is a team like the Lakers that needs somebody who can actually hit a jump shot. Okay. And they'll roll the dice for one season, throw all of it in the middle of the table. Like, okay, we Schroeder didn't do it. Can you do it for one season and we're going to get rid of you? But I see him, if he gets 125, if he gets close to 100, it's going to come from a bad team. So he's going to have to choose between taking less money and being on a good team.
You faded out, Sham.
Or getting his bag and playing it on. I'm sorry. I said if he really wants to get the whole bag, then he's going to have to decide on whether he wants to be on a good team or a bad team. A bad team will give him the money. A good team is not.
Well, you know what? No team is going to give him $25 million for 1 year. That's just don't make sense. Because if he's coming off an injury, so no team is going to give him $25 million for a year. Like we said in our chat, in our group text, $18 million might be his ceiling this year, for a contract. If he was smart, you take a 1 year deal at a certain price, not as low as what you previously made, which is $12 million. But you're not getting $25 million a year. I'm sorry. And I like Spencer Dinwiddie, the player.
Is it Bitcoin, Matt? The $25 million?
Remember, he wants to put his money in Bitcoin. He could do that too. He wants to put his whole contract into Bitcoin.
Yeah. Which would actually be far less than $25 million, by the way.
But again, like you guys were saying, him the player, like Bishop said, when they needed him to score, he scored 20 points. They needed him to score 20 points for a season. He did that. They needed him to be a facilitator. He did that. He's a solid defender. But you coming off an injury, I see you you and Victor Oladipo are in, especially Victor Oladipo. Y'all just got injured at the wrong time. And this isn't Spencer Dinwiddie's first injury. He had one, I think, either early in his career or in college. He blew out his ACL also.
It was early in his career.
Right. And Spencer, you were a second round pick. It's a hard sell for me to see him getting a big contract. He might have to suck it up and take a low contract, but higher than what he was gonna make if he had opted in.
Just to see if he. Just telling you, some bad team is going to give him that contract.
Just to see if he can still deliver the way he was before he got injured. Because you know who he reminds me of, and I don't know if you guys remember. You remember Eric Murdoch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't remind me of Eric.
He reminds me of a
bigger version.
A bigger version, like an Eric Murdoch, like 3.0. Like, so I can get you buckets, I can run your offense, but I can create off the dribble. I'm big enough, like, because Spencer Dinwiddie used to post up. Spencer Dinwiddie, like, he got a lot in his bag.
Mm-hmm.
He got a lot in his bag.
Right.
So he reminds me of him in the sense that Yeah, so it's like they got similar type of games, but Spencer Dinwiddie is the new and improved version with a little bit more solid. Solid. I agree with you in the last 3 minutes of the game. It's like I
Take
don't
the
know,
ball out of his hands.
what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, if it's the pressure or is it the moment? It's like, dude, you were good all game, and then like you
Yep.
just threw the ball away, like
Mhm.
cost them the game by throwing the ball to the referee.
Right.
Like, and there was a few times that I saw that, and it was just like, is this dude under pressure? I don't. Some
Mm.
players are different under pressure.
Yeah.
Some
Right.
players are different under
Right.
pressure, and that's why he only went in the second round, because he showed signs that he's not the guy that you could put in pressure situations, because he get nervous or something, or he forget that he could play basketball and does something else.
Right.
So
Right.
some guys are like that. Some guys are like that. Yeah, I'm good all game,
Yeah.
but if you put me in a
That's true.
situation, where I gotta deliver, I gotta do something, and the attention is on me, I'm a dribble a
Hey,
ball off. I'm a fall on the floor with the ball. It's something,
who
something.
who's the brother from
Yep.
the Orlando Magic that froze on the free throw line
Oh,
Um,
and
Nick
was
Anderson.
never
Nick Anderson.
Nick
Nick Anderson.
Anderson? I was in Barbados watching the series, and the whole resort where we were all watching the game, and he started beating on his heart after he missed the first two, and then he missed 3 and 4. I looked at my cousin. I was like, "They're gonna lose because he just blew the series."
Mm-hmm.
And that happened, and then Shaq left, and they were never the same. And his career wasn't what it was prior to that. And
Nope.
but that's not Spencer Dinwiddie, because Spencer Dinwiddie his swag level is just too much.
He's good. He's good money from 3 point. He's
Yeah.
Yeah,
good from the mid range. He posts. He drives to the basket. He's a good
he
free throw
passes.
shooter. He's a good free throw shooter. Guys like playing with him because he finds guys. You know what I mean? He
Yeah,
makes
I
right
like
basketball plays.
I
Just
love
in the
his
last,
game.
in the last 3 minutes, it's like, what's going on? Like I don't understand. Like, who is this? Like, is
Right,
he tired? Like, what's going on? And that's
right.
been, yeah. So
Let's move on a little. Kenny Atkinson, your boy Chandler. I like Kenny Atkinson as a coach. Kenny signs on as the Golden State Warriors lead assistant coach, sliding Mike Brown one seat over. Because y'all know I don't like the black Mr. Weatherby. I don't like Mike Brown at all. So slide over, Mike. What do y'all think of this deal? Coaching waiting?
Mm, mm, I don't know.
Damn it, I can't hear.
I don't know.
Keep talking, Bishop. Why don't
No,
you know?
I don't know because unless unless there's something going on with Steve Kerr,
Right.
I don't see it happening because you gotta remember you got Clay coming back,
Mm-hmm.
you got Steph is gonna be Steph,
Right.
and even if they have Wiseman, if they don't have Wiseman, you
Right.
still got those two coming back, so that makes it the game astronomically easier
Oh yeah.
for a coach. So it's like, okay, well, this is one of the easiest gigs in the league. Why, like, there's no reason for them to make the switch unless Steve Kerr is like, for health reasons or whatever, I'm not going to be able to do it. And it's like, okay, well, why would you have Kenny Atkinson in that number 2 seat to take over? He ain't the guy. He ain't the guy to coach superstars.
Well, brother, have you seen Mike Brown coach?
Well, he ain't the guy to
Yeah.
coach the superstars either.
Well, who's better?
But
Who's a better coach? Kenny Atkinson or
it would
Mike
be
Brown?
Atkinson. Atkinson.
Well, the familiarity though, because when Steve Kerr was kind of like hurt,
Right.
or Mike Brown did, and so it's like don't
Nah,
have
it
it
was
was
Luke.
That was Luke
Luke
Walton.
Walton
That was Luke Walton.
and I remember what's the name, Mike Brown having some coaching responsibility for some of those games too. But just think about it. I don't really have to do anything. This is the Splash Brothers here. This runs without. It's like just put oil and watch it work. There's no. There's really no. There's really no.
Go ahead, Chandler.
I think Atkinson was brought in because we know Atkinson works well with young players. We know this. He has, we saw it in Brooklyn. I don't think this is anything about Kerr. I think this is Kerr not wanting to coach the young players. I think that Kenny Atkinson is brought in there specifically you look at Toscano Anderson, you look at some of the young players they have, they're going to keep Wiseman. Remember, they got a lottery pick that may or may not have it. And if I'm Golden State management, Curry is getting up there. Curry, he's still great and all that, but he is getting older. Klay Thompson's coming off 2 injuries, right? So I'm going to want to replenish.
And he's right behind him.
Right. So I'm going to keep my lottery picks and I'm going to try to, get these guys because, I'm trying to get these guys up. Well, if I got a coach who, let's be honest, Kerr has never been known as some guy who made young players better. Okay, and I got these young players that I believe in. I need a coach that can coach them up. So I bring in Kenny Atkinson because here's what happens. If they don't succeed, they blame Kenny Atkinson. If they do succeed, Kerr gets the credit. But this helps Kenny Atkinson get another job.
Right. I was getting ready to say that. And Kenny Atkinson builds up his do y'all really think there was stench on him from Brooklyn firing him because of Durant and Kyrie, Dinwiddie, and DeAndre Jordan forming a coup? Well, I don't think Spencer Dinwiddie did it because Atkinson is the reason why he's at the level he's at now. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I think a little because of the Durant piece. Like, you couldn't get along with Kevin Durant. Most coaches, damn it. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Most coaches get along with Kevin Durant. It's kind of other players and one of that really don't. So I think the fact that Kevin Durant was part of that is why there was a little bit of a stench on him.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
He was still winning though. He was still winning, so it's kind of like when that happened to him, everybody was shocked and kind of like, well, hey, he's a decent coach. Like, I don't understand, but he can't coach superstars. That's the problem. Those superstars, I should say, those superstars. He can't coach those superstars.
Right.
Those 3 guys.
They were not amenable to anything that he was preaching, and that was from the door.
Right.
They were not amenable.
Right. Well, Bishop, Kenny Atkinson is he's a New Yorker. You know how we roll. So he's an in-your-face guy. He wants you to play defense. All 3 of them are not known for their defense, except for Durant, maybe. The Kyrie and Harden they don't want to be pushed on that end of the ball. And he's a guy who was pushing. So they was like, nah. Let's get Nash and D'Antoni and Amari in here.
When they got to Brooklyn, they were like, the countdown was on with how long Kenny Atkins, when Kyrie and Durant got, the countdown was on. How long were they going to be able to? Was he going to be able to hold on to his job?
Right.
Because that we are, everybody against us mentality, and like let's show them, let's prove them wrong. All of those players, most of those players were gone. Most of those players were gone, and it's like, I don't need to prove that we belong here and this and that. I've got 2 championships. I've got 1 championship. I've been an all-star. I've been Finals MVP. So I don't need that message. I'm not receiving that message. You got to come up with a new message. And it was just like, I don't think they gave him the time before they even got there. It was just kind of like, that was a foregone conclusion.
We knew that was going to happen.
It was just how it was going to play out.
Yeah.
And Durant, it's like he's always involved in some kind of like some kind of like controversy, some kind of, like he said this and somebody said that, and it's always him. It's
Go ahead,
always
say
him.
what you call him, what you want to call him. His Mitchisms.
Yeah, it's just like, like I don't understand. Like any instance where it was something that somebody said this and he said this and then she said that, and it's always him. Always him. It's like it can't be. Yeah.
It's never been with a coach though. It's usually with other players, commentators, reporters, you name it. And that's why I say I think there was a little bit of a stench on Atkinson because, like I said, I can't think of a coach that's coached Durant that's had anything negative to say about him. So, like the Kyrie piece, okay, Harden wasn't there yet. Maybe they were looking to get who knows, but like the DeAndre Jordan piece, and Spencer Dinwiddie was part of that because he had some crap to say too. And that's kind of why I'm not really feeling him anymore because that man is the reason that you an all-star about to get paid, and all you did was throw rocks at him on his way out the door. You know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, because I thought it was really interesting that Atkinson didn't even really get any real interviews.
Yeah,
that could have used him, and they didn't even touch him.
Well, right. Just think about it. Just think about this. It's like, okay, so he would have been perfect for Orlando.
Yep, I was just getting ready to say that, Bishop.
He would have been, he would have been perfect for Orlando.
Well, let me ask you this, Bishop. Would he be perfect for them if they had kept Fournier, Vujacic, and Aaron Gordon? Or would he be perfect for right now?
Potentially, he would be perfect for Indiana.
Yeah,
yes,
perfect for a team like Indiana. So it's kind of like, but
yes,
it's like now you're starting from scratch again, and maybe I don't know, maybe he's looking to get away from that, and it can't hurt sitting next to the guy who runs this motion offense and has these star players. It can't hurt.
Nope.
Yeah, because Steve Kerr invented basketball. Y'all know that, right? Steve Kerr invented basketball.
Yes,
that's why
they
always
for the most part. For the most part.
Because look like coaching with Steve Kerr now is like what's the coach's name in the NFL? In the NFL, the one that just because if you had a conversation with him, now they're hiring you. Is it Schottenheimer or Shanahan? One of the two. If you just have a conversation with him, somebody will hire you as their coach. Oh, you know him? So, that's what Kerr is now. Kerr apparently invented basketball, and he's the reason that every star player is great because, Steve Kerr.
Yep. And with that, we're going to move on. Last topic of the night. I posted, once I found out that the Portland Trailblazers hired Scott Brooks as their lead assistant coach to be that guy next to Chauncey Billups. And the thing with Chauncey Billups, what I said was that I had forgotten, and I said it on the last show, I had forgotten about his rape case. And that stench has been prevalent the last couple of days. Dame Lillard said he didn't know or he didn't remember. So they had to pacify him in closed doors, I guess, because he's like, yo, what y'all doing? And I said that Scott Brooks is coach in waiting. And, brother in the group was like, Scott Brooks has led many teams to deep runs. I'm like, one run. He had one deep run. With OKC. One.
OKC. So
he is like 49 and 48 in the playoffs. So he has not had no deep runs. And he's slightly over 500 because he's a 557 career regular season coach, and he's 49 and 48 in the playoffs. And they have one deep run. And he's also said that I was making a big assumption. I'm like, well, that's the assumption to make. You hire Chauncey Billups, who has this stench following him. and you have a star player who has gone on record saying that he's happy, content, wants to retire as a Trailblazer, and now he looking at y'all kind of sideways. And then you hire this guy, Scott Brooks, who has been a coach for about 10 years. He's been a coach. Like I said, one deep run. He's been to the playoffs. But he is a mediocre coach to me.
Yep.
And I see him, though, as that's the placeholder in case something happens with Chauncey where it doesn't work out.
That's the Nick McMillan. That's the Nick
Yeah.
McMillan.
Yeah. Well, you know
Right.
what though? This is why, bitch, you weren't here the last show we did. This is why I criticized Portland for not letting Chauncey address it. This is why.
Right.
Because
and it's a forced hire.
right, because now it looks like you're trying to cover something up when you let him address it. Now you have to remember that Portland fan base, that's the only game in town. Okay? And that area that was going to be brought up, it was going to be talked about behind closed doors. Now you got sponsors ask you questions. Well, why don't you want them to talk about it? If you had let him address it and put it to bed, he could have talked about, listen, I was young. I made some extremely poor choices. I understand now that things have consequences, da, 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 da. You understand what I'm saying? Talk about how he's grown, what he's done to become a better man. You put it to bed. Now, Chauncey got maybe one season, bro. They better win. Because there is no way in hell that Chauncey Billups would say, hey, go get me Scott Brooks. I thought he would go get him a Kenny Atkinson, somebody who's gonna, because what's the biggest thing they need to do? Play defense. He was gonna go get him a guy who's gonna coach the defense. You go get him Scott Brooks? Nah, Chauncey, listen, they better get out of the second round, or Chauncey ain't gonna be long for that job.
Right.
I think for me, it's like, I think Chauncey would make a pretty good coach. I think it's messaging. He's got to connect with Dame and McCollum.
Mm-hmm.
More so Dame. He's got to connect with his messaging. The
Right.
whole idea of bringing up the ancient history, and it's like, listen, if the authorities, the legal authorities, didn't deem that this was something that he should be penalized over, so social media,
he settled.
yeah, but they decided not to press charges, and he settled.
Right.
And he
Right.
settled. So if it was something that was something, then they would have pursued it in a
Right.
court, in the legal.
Did
in the
you
legal
remember
system.
it, Bishop? Did you remember his case?
I remember
it
coming up.
vaguely.
I remember
And
it
I don't
vaguely,
remember
but
him. I remember
but it wasn't a big Mercer.
Anton Walker and Ray Mercer. Not
Right.
Ray Mercer, Ron Mercer.
Yeah, I remember it was something that happened, but it was like it wasn't something that was like, okay, front and center, where it's like, uh-oh, this is a scandal. It was more
Right.
like, and it was in that time when it was like, yo, these dudes need to make better decisions, and just
Right.
don't find yourself in that position. You know what I mean? Don't put yourself in that position where somebody can accuse you of something, and it's
Right.
like, it could. And to me, it's like, okay, well, if I wasn't prosecuted on the legal front, I'm not going to allow you, as the media, to bring this up, to make it something that I have to explain to you. I don't have to explain anything to you.
But
It's like, that's not what I'm here for. That's not what
Bishop,
I'm here for. That's not what I'm
Bishop,
here
you know
for.
why he does? You know why he does? Because number one, you have to look at where he signed. You have to look, because there's more to this. You are the face of that franchise. You're the face of that corporation. Okay.
Anywhere he signed.
Hold on. But it's different. At different places, is different things required. Okay. There's different. If you coach in different cities, there's gonna be different things that people are gonna have an issue with than they would in a different city. We all understand that. Let's not act like every place you coach is the same. It's different. Coaching at Alabama versus coaching at Texas at Texas A&M is two different things. Okay. They knew this was going to be brought up. Okay, because of where he signed and because of the environment where he signed. Okay,
Right.
So if you know this going in, and this man is going to be the face of your franchise, which means any missteps that he's had, because they have nothing else to talk about in Portland, is going to be brought up. So you address,
just like Jason Kidd. Just like Jason Kidd. He didn't want no parts of that.
Exactly. Because he knew what was coming for him if he took that job. It doesn't now, whether fair, unfair, doesn't really matter. You're the face of my corporation. You've had some missteps in your life. I need you to address those missteps to pacify my sponsors and my customers, so they'll continue to buy my product. So they'll continue to support my product the way they have been, because again, that's the only game in town. Listen, them Portland fans are rabid. They're like college fans, and they're like dogs with a bone. Once they get their teeth into something, they're not letting it go. So had they just allowed him to address it at the press conference, listen, I'm gonna talk about this one time, and we're gonna put this to bed. Scott Brooks wouldn't have this job right now. That right, wrong, or indifferent, that's the reality of the landscape that he chose to go to. Okay, so they handled this poorly. They handled this poorly from jump. Then you add in the fact that Dame got blindsided with that information when, again, they should have went to him to Dame. This is going to get brought up, bro. So we just giving you a heads up that this is going to be brought up about Chauncey. They handled this poorly is the bottom line. They've handled this poorly from jump, and Chauncey's going to pay the price for it.
So you think, let me just, you think that the superstar of the team didn't know that this was going to be a thing? You don't think he knew this was going to be a thing?
Dame didn't even know about it because he was like 7 years old when it happened.
Yeah, but you don't think that they knew that you don't think that they did the due diligence on Chauncey Billups to say this is potentially what could be brought up and so forth and so on? What Dame said was, you asking me about something that potentially, that allegedly occurred when I was 7 years old. Like, don't ask me about that. Like, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? He didn't say he didn't know. He didn't say that he didn't know. He said, don't ask me about something that
happened when I was 7 or 8 years old.
Allegedly occurred when I was in middle school. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. Like, you're not going to get anything from me.
Okay, the team did not, whether the team did their due diligence or not, they did not handle this properly. Is the bottom line, because this is a thing in Portland right now. This is a thing out there. And they should have known that based on their fan base.
Is Portland
not a Bible belt, but it's different, and they take that sort of thing that transpired, or rather allegedly transpired with Chauncey Billups. They take that stuff seriously.
It'll all blow over once the season starts. It'll all blow over once the season starts. Guaranteed.
Well,
guaranteed. So if they lose a game that the fans believe that then they're gonna be like, well, the reason why they lost is because he allegedly had the rape case. It's like it'll all blow over. You know how people are. It's the news cycle. It's the news cycle.
This is the same fan base that ran Zach Randolph, ran a bunch of players out there because of things that happened off the court that really weren't even bad. Okay, this fan base and those sponsors up there are a different breed. And let Chauncey, let that team not be successful. Okay, Chauncey will not last more than one season if that team does not get out of the second round.
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt and saying that he's going to be able to connect, and he's going to be able to get the best out of Lillard, the best out of McCollum, and the best out of the guards, and he's going to be able to whatever big man is there, be able to get them to see the game how the game needs to be seen in order to maximize the backcourt talent that they have. I'm confident. Like, I listen to his game analytics. I listen to his game analytics. I listen to, and at the end of the day, guys have done like far worse and found themselves in far worse situations. I can't imagine that this is going to be the hot topic once the season starts and once the ball starts bouncing. Yes, they handled it crappy. I totally
Portland
agree.
It will be. In Portland, it will be on a sports talk radio. It will be.
And it's like, you know what? You should have, when you had the news conference, you should have, vetted these reporters. Hey, we're inviting you to this. These are the things you can ask about.
I agree with you on that.
These are the things. You set the stage. These are the things that you can ask. If you can handle that, you in. If you can't handle that, we'll see you when the season starts. And
Which
if
goes
if
back
you want to
to
bring
the
it up,
team handled it poorly. Which goes back to
yeah,
the team did a piss poor job in this. The team handled it
yeah.
poorly because they overestimated and underestimated. Yes, and again, I'm not blaming Chauncey here. This is the organization's fault. This is not
When this
Damien's
happened?
fault. This is not Chauncey's fault.
When this
This
happened? When
happened
this
close
allegedly
to
happened?
20 years ago.
Yeah,
Well, he said it
19,
close to 20 years ago. So
1997.
yes, something
1997.
happened.
This
Okay.
allegedly happened the way that this person said that it allegedly happened. So you mean to tell me that something that
And
happened 20 something years ago
right.
is you fans in Portland are going to judge
Yes.
me,
Yeah.
my performance based on
Yes.
something that allegedly happened 20 years ago? I don't think
Yes.
that they're gonna. Yeah,
Dude, have you been to
I'll be
Yeah.
Portland? You
surprised.
ever been to Portland?
I'll be
You ever
surprised.
been to Portland?
No, I haven't. No. You may
It's
Okay.
be right.
different.
You
Portland,
may be right.
it's a different. It's different. It's different,
You
bro.
may
It's
be right.
different. It's different.
Um,
That would have not been the place. Like if I was counseling Chauncey, I would have told that would not be the job out. I would have if I was his agent, whatever. That would not have been a job I would have steered him
So
to.
you'd have told him to
Honestly,
go to Orlando?
no, because I think he had there was a couple of jobs that he had a shot at.
He interviewed I think he might have interviewed. I don't know if he interviewed for Boston, but he did interview some jobs.
Right, and I think he could have had his pick of jobs. Honestly, that wouldn't have been the first for his first job. That wouldn't have been the job I would have steered him to, knowing how Portland is. Like I said, when those names came up, I'm like, that's Portland, brother. It's not going to work out there. Them fans is not going to let this go. They're not going to let it go. They're not.
Right, and you know, Bishop, you were saying that this happened 27 years ago, right? The young lady has remained ghost, but maybe she had to sign some paperwork where she
NDA.
can't
They
speak
did the NDAs
publicly.
back then.
Right, but nobody usually, you know, with these type of cases, some of the people just don't go away, you know. And like I said, I forgot about it.
Yeah,
I was like, wait, Chauncey raped somebody? Oh shit!
well, allegedly. And Chandler,
Well, every time,
Chandler, you know, I'm gonna step back and say, you know, I hear exactly what you're saying, and most of the time when you and I have, you know, the disagreements, it comes to bear that what you're saying does have validity. So I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Don't
Yeah.
give
I'm like I said,
up.
yeah, like I said, bro, I'm not
I'm
blaming
giving you the
Chauncey.
benefit of the doubt. I'm
Yeah,
giving you the benefit of the doubt.
I'm not blaming Chauncey. Like I said, the organization just did a piss poor job with this. That's the bottom line on this thing. Because, like you said, they could have done that thing with the press conference. Listen, please don't add. You know, you understand? There's a lot of things they could have done and done far better than this.
We know in the paint is small. We want to be bigger, but when we've had people on the show, me and R make it a point of certain people have had certain things happen in their history. So we always, especially me, I ask them, yo, do you want me to stay away from this? What do you want to talk about? What don't you want me to talk about?
Right.
And most of the time, like Kenny Anderson, he was very open with us. If you listen to that interview that we had with him, he went deeper than we wanted to go because he said, hey, whatever, let's just talk, you know. Okay. And he went deep. And Portland, during the press conference, you got to set the precedent with the reporters, because the reporters are gonna do their job, and they're gonna put you on the spot, and they put Chauncey on the spot, and then the PR person steps in, which isn't always a good look.
Right.
Oh, just think about this. Maybe they were looking at it, approaching it from the standpoint of, we're not going to dignify that with a response. We're not going to dignify. We're here to talk about the new beginnings, a new coach, this and that. We're not going to dignify that with a response. So if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for clickbait, if you're looking for this, if you're looking for that, we're not going to entertain that. So you're just going to be, it's going to fall on deaf ears. So maybe that's what they will. Maybe that's how they were approaching it. And again, knowing the news cycle, these things like, and I've never been to Portland, so I don't know, but it seems like just throughout society as a whole, these things have a shelf life, and then they just dissipate. Like they just dissipate.
Right. Well, if you don't give anything any attention, it'll go away. Or if you set the precedent and say, nah, or like Chandler said earlier, let him say what he wanted to say, because he did say prior to that and after that happened that he did want to address it, and he wanted to say that, listen, I was a young man, yada, yada, yada. This helped me to become who I am now. And maybe they should have let him say that.
Yep. That would have been the perfect thing. And you could have put it to bed.
He could have always brought Christ into it.
Well, yeah, I mean, whatever. Yeah.
It was like, yo, whenever you do that, it's like, yo, it's indisputable. It's indisputable.
Right. Look at Ben Roethlisberger.
Exactly.
Ben Roethlisberger is married, children, saved. He gave his life to Jesus Christ, and everything is golden now.
Because now it becomes like you're attacking my religion.
Right.
So now this is not about the infraction, the alleged infraction.
Yep.
Now you're attacking me because I'm a Christian, and you don't like the fact that
I'm a man of God.
And you're attacking that. You're attacking that.
See, Bishop, we need to start a PR firm, because there's so many better ways they could have handled this, man. Like you said, even if they had said what you said, right? That would have been better than their response was, we already addressed this, when they hadn't addressed it anywhere publicly. So again, the organization just did a piss poor job, because if they had let him speak, if he had said that, or if they had just said, listen, we understand something happened in this man's past. That's not why we're here. He is okay. He's settled, so something happened. Regardless whether you want to there was an incident in his past. We all understand it was an incident, but that was a 20-something. That was a young man. This is an adult male that we're hiring to be the face of our corporation, our franchise. He has grown and changed. We're not going to dig up the past. In fairness to the person, the other people involved, we are not going to readdress this, but what we will say is this, that everything that has happened to him has made him the person who he is now, that we want to lead this organization into the future. Bam, you're done.
Also, he, they have young players on their team. He can tell them, listen, I was in this situation. Don't do this.
Over the last 20 years, I've mentored players in the league. I've mentored college players. I've mentored up and coming players, just so that
and I've
it's like
cultivated this.
Yes, the Christ that I have in my life that is shining through, and I feel like it is my Christian duty to allow my light to shine on others, so that they don't find themselves in these compromising situations where they can be accused of things that go against the nature of who they are, and be put in these difficult situations to have these allegations raised against them. But to the glory and honor be to God, because he set my life on the right path and has enabled me to do these things for others. So
any of those answers, any of those things would have been better than what they did.
Yeah, and
any of that would have been better than what they did.
And now if you bring it up again, it's like, well, I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let's pray. Let's pray.
Come here.
Yeah, let's pray. You need a hug. You need a hug, brother. Let's pray. Get my oil. Get my oil.
Because I guarantee you, the first TNT game is going to be brought up. The press conference is going to be brought up. The very first time they're on TNT, that press conference is going to get brought up.
Well, and I don't know about TNT because
ESPN, one of them. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to get brought up.
Yeah, that would mean like Jalen Rose or one of the dudes that he had. You know what? Jay Williams would ask it. Jay Williams would ask that. Yeah.
Jay Williams needs to get his teeth slapped down his throat. I can't stand that.
He would ask something around that. He would ask something.
You mean the guy who forgot that Bill Russell was black?
Yeah, Twitter fingers. Twitter
Okay.
fingers.
The one that
Twitter
changed
fingers.
the one that changed his name because he didn't want to be associated with Jason Williams, so he changed his name to Jay.
Yeah, and Jason Williams is still a better man than him.
Because he didn't want people to associate him with the Jason Williams who shot his limousine driver, even though that Jason Williams is 6'10" and light skinned, and you are like a little pug.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait.
You're a little dude.
Bishop, don't that Jason Williams, don't he look like Christopher Williams and I'll be sure?
Yeah,
like they all
he does.
cousins.
The big one?
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
Well, before he started drinking, he did. But then afterwards, he looked like a wrecked Genuine. Like, yo,
he got his life together now, though. He got his life together now. And
he's doing things.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's using that and made himself better and trying to help other people. But yeah, you don't want to be associated with him, Jay Williams. You don't want to be associated with somebody that had something, that did something, was in a bad place and has come out of it and is a better human being for that. We don't want to be associated with people like that.
Right.
No.
Jay Williams need to chill because Charles Oakley got Jason Williams back. So
What you trying to say? That could be an assault case?
Nah, we know. Oh, you live in Charlotte. He slapped a former Carolina player.
Man, that's why Jay Williams live in Jersey, bro. Okay, that's why he lives in Jersey. All right, let him stay in Jersey. Talking about some man, go away. You from Jersey? We don't care about you.
I told you I wanted Charles Oakley on In the Paint, and I've seen him in person so many times throughout his playing career and since he's retired. And I said, yo, we tweeted, man. They're trying to get you on In the Paint. He sucked his In the Paint. Look at you ain't been trying hard enough. I was like, have a good day, Mr. Oakley.
It's like, yep. Next thing you know,
you owe me money, right?
Next thing you know, you getting up off the floor wondering what happened. It's like, yo, like what just happened? I was standing there. I said hello, and now people are around me and they picking me up. People around me picking me up.
All I saw was a big hand and a flash of light.
I didn't even see that. I just heard the sound. I just heard the sound, and then my legs went. And that's all I know.
Yeah.
Did you see who hit you, sir?
Right. Let me ask you this, Chandler and Bishop. Since it's obvious they forced Scott Brooks on Chauncey and didn't let him pick his own coaching staff.
Right.
Who do you think he would have picked to be that coach who has been a head coach before, who has been around the league as a coach prior to Chauncey, or somebody you'd like to see with him? Go ahead.
I think I would have loved Kenny Atkinson there to be his defensive coach.
Right.
Let me see. I would have loved to see him poach somebody off of the Toronto staff, and maybe grab one of the Tibbs lead assistants. Oh no, Steve Clifford. Steve Clifford.
He's a really good assistant coach.
Yes, I think Steve Clifford, Kenny Atkinson, and you throw a couple more guys there. I think that would be a really good staff. The beginning of a staff.
I gotta need to check and see who else they hired to be. I think Sam is with him.
Cassell?
I think Sam. Is a name. Another name coach who played in the league who went with Chauncey.
Okay. I could even, you know what?
Don't quote me on that.
I wouldn't have even minded if he tapped the Stan Van Gundy to be his lead assistant. Because Stan ain't getting another head coaching. Stan ain't getting another head coaching job. You understand? He's not getting another head coaching job.
Does he deserve one?
Nah, I would no. He's proven that he's inept. Like he's proven that he's inept on more than one occasion. He's got the last golden parachute that he's going to get because he's still got to get paid. From the Pelicans. But it was like, that was a bad selection. It's like, I didn't see how that was going to work.
Is he still getting? Wait.
I think he's still paid.
The Pistons had to pay him, and the Pelicans got to pay him.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So it's like, I'm a 1 year deal. Sign a 4 year. Only stay there for 1 year.
Right.
I would have liked to have seen. I would have liked to seen like a young coaching core, like if he would have had like Stackhouse or one of them dudes, like
Right.
on the bench with him. Two former players that
Ross Strictly.
like a Darvin Ham,
Mm-hmm.
somebody
Okay, yeah.
add like so you got like a young, and now you can say, okay, well we walked that walk. You understand what I'm saying? So Dame, like, I understand what you're going through because I've walked that walk,
Right.
and this
Where,
is I
where's
came out on
Sam
the other
Mitchell
side.
at?
NBA
In
TV.
the paint, NBA TV doing superb analytics, and
Yes,
he's on
yes,
Sam
superb
Mitchell
analytics.
never. I liked him as a coach.
yeah,
Nobody gave him
Well, he's too
a
old school.
chance.
He's too old school. He's
yeah.
too old
Because he
school.
get in your
Listen,
face. Yeah, yeah.
right. Listen. Analytics has a place in basketball. It's just that true percentage shit. How many dribbles somebody, all that's dumb shit that has nothing to do with basketball. Pace,
When I heard Sam
like.
Mitchell,
Mm-hmm.
when I heard Sam Mitchell say that he reaffirmed what I've been saying all along, it's like Ben Simmons can't play the point guard role if he can't provide what a point guard is supposed to provide. It's like he shouldn't be on the ball. He should be an extra and added on the court that can, help manage the game, but he can't be the main guy. And
Mhm.
one morning I was listening to, or the afternoon I was listening to the NBA on XM radio, and
Mm-hmm.
they were talking about it, and he made a very good point in the sense that he was like, yo, like I wouldn't have him running a point on my team because he's not a point guard. It's like, what does a point guard have to give you? A point guard has to manage the game. A point guard has to be able to hit open shots. A point guard has to be able to play in the pick and roll. A point guard has to be an extension of the coach. Okay, so out of all of the things that I just said, how many of those does Simmons check out? How many boxes does he
What?
check off there?
But Bishop,
Uh,
good, Jim. And then
well,
I'm
yeah, Bishop is right, but you're right. I like that because if you use Simmons as a Swiss Army knife on the
Right.
court, then you're getting the best out of him. So yeah, y'all absolutely right with that one.
But here's the thing. Doesn't that fall on the coaches who haven't taught him how to be a point guard?
He's not a point guard.
Well, he is.
No, he wants
He's
to
just
play
not
point
being.
guard. He
No,
wants to
no,
play
no,
point
no,
guard.
no.
He's not a point guard.
He hasn't been taught to play point guard. You have to be taught how to be a point guard.
Yeah, but some people can't listen. There's you can teach a guy to play the point, but you can't teach a guy how to be a point guard. Those are two that Mac, you know this. You're a point guard, okay?
Right.
You can't teach that. You can teach somebody how to play the point. Okay, this is what your job is. But being a real point guard, you either are a point guard or you're not.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
I think he is. I just think coaches haven't. Listen, he can handle the ball as well as anybody.
But can
He
he
makes good passes. His skill set is what it is. It's you gotta break it down to him.
He don't have the personality to play the point. Because he's not willing to put it like this. Chris Paul's a point guard. He's not willing to do half of the things that Chris Paul is willing to do on the court as the point guard. Listen, if that means you're gonna be mad at me, you just gonna have to be mad at me right now. But we running this is the set we running over here. You understand what I'm saying? That's not Ben Simmons. That's not even his personality, bro. That's why he went to LSU. Come on.
Sam Mitchell listed like 6 or 7 things, 6 or 7 items.
Mm-hmm.
And out of the 6 or 7 items, Ben Simmons only checked 2 boxes.
What are 2?
Like, that he can rebound, bring the ball up without turning it over, and he makes good passes. But as far as like managing the game, thinking the game through, being an extension of the coach, being able to play in a pick and roll, being able to consistently hit a jump shot, all of those things he didn't check the boxes on. And Sam Mitchell was saying point blank, if you can't do these things in today's NBA, then you can't be my starting point guard. That's it, plain and simple. Like, I might be able to use you during the course of the game, like if I need to rest the point guard or we want to go big or something like that and situational, but I can't use you as the starting point guard because you don't bring what a starting point guard brings to the table.
Well, as him and Jollof Rice have grown, they still win games. You got to build a point guard up. He hasn't been built up.
How many years has he been in the league?
5.
5 years?
About 5.
No,
Okay.
is it 4? 4, isn't it?
4 or 5. 4 or 5.
Okay.
One
Okay,
year.
so-
One year was an injury year, so he's set.
Yeah.
Okay, so even if you said for a starting point guard at that caliber, 2 seasons. I'm taking away the season that you sat and you watched, but
Mm-hmm.
you sat and you watched and you were able to see how the game plays out. You were able to see. So 2 seasons.
So let me ask you this. Alfred Payton doesn't check the same boxes either. And he's
Absolutely.
a point guard.
But Alfred Payton is not a starting point guard. He's not
Right.
he's never been a starting point guard in this
We
league.
know that, but he
So,
is a starting point
he's
guard.
a
Or
backup.
was.
He's a backup, but I'm just saying he was out of position. He's a backup point guard. He's a backup point guard. That's all he's been, and it's fine because he can have a solid career on that. But Ben Simmons is not a starting point guard, and I think
Right.
what has happened is like everybody's talking about like Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons' game is not important to Ben Simmons because you can't tell me like we've been talking about his jump shot. We've been talking about his offensive, inefficiencies or whatever.
Right.
If that was important to you, you would have come back. I'm not saying that you had to be Curry. I'm not saying that you had to be Clay, but you would have come back each season adding something else to your game.
Right.
Adding
So
the jump
let me
shot.
ask you this. Giannis, similar build. Is Giannis handles the ball a lot. They run the offense through Giannis a lot. Is Giannis played point when Jason Kidd was there. Is Giannis a point guard?
No,
and
but
he shouldn't
but
be.
he,
Doesn't he have point guard skills?
no, but he can do it in a pinch. But if you look at his game, when Giannis first got to Milwaukee, all he was a rim runner.
Mhm.
Right. But he's worked on his game, right?
Exactly, and that's Bishop's point. Is what has Ben Simmons done? I just keep going back to the fact that this kid could have went to Duke. He chose to go to LSU. That told me all I needed to know about Ben Simmons.
You know what's important to Ben?
What?
I found out what's important to him.
Money.
Instagram chicks and money?
His nut game.
What do you mean his nut game?
Who's he dating? Who
I
can
said
he be?
Instagram
Who
models.
can he be? Who can he be? Yeah, who
those
can he be
chicks.
on the limelight with? That's what's important to him. Because
Well-
all of this stuff has been talked about. It's like when they were talking about it, he's with the Kardashian. Only thing you can see is him and the Kardashian. Now they're talking about it, and the first thing that he does is pop up at a tennis match with a model.
After he said he was gonna go work on his game.
Right. That's the thing that's important to him. So to me, it's like his game is more important to everybody else, and it's not important to him.
I agree with you on that.
Hey.
He ain't serious, but hey. It's been great with y'all. I gotta go. I know Bishop gotta go.
Yes.
Chandler is down for whatever. But
Yeah, I ain't got nothing else to do.
Kamikaze in it.
so it's been another great In the Paint. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, In the Paint Media Group. I'm tired. In the Paint Media Group. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at In the Paint Media. Follow me at The Real Max 611 and follow that other dude at
Model?
Real R Jones. Oh yeah,
The model.
Yo, he was chilling today. He was chilling. I give him his props. R caught an impromptu photographer called him and said he wanted to take a picture R to add to his portfolio, and R does what R does because he's a personable dude. Got R looking like Tyson, old looking like Tyson Beckford's uncle.
His old uncle.
Nah, looking like Steven from Django.
Bishop, yo, you know when he listens to this, he's gonna get you, bro.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. I ain't scared.
I know. Please, y'all, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share the show on your individual social media. Listen to us. Thank you, and we're gonna say good night. Peace.
Peace.